Before we begin, I like to do this.
What they be knocking, y'all? The sonic rings up out of it, and you.
I'd like to thank Red Pill Sleeper Cell for the salute first super chat of the stream. I appreciate my brother. Thank you. Oh, and if anyone's still in the building, if you guys want, screw it, I'm gonna put the call line anyway. Why not? It's late night edition. I'll put the call line early. Open this up a little bit, and the reason why I want to open it up while going through this is because this is something to really be not only examined, but this is a telltale sign for those that don't know. As you know, I didn't really have the spirit. Oh, good morning to you, Jet Black. How you doing? I was not really feeling talking about every celebrity on the Chaos Rain show. For those that don't know, if I cover it, I cover it for a good reason, personally. But when I found out Papoose went and responded to his going to be soon to be ex-wife Remy Ma, it was very telling. Like literally, very telling. And I was very disappointed, not disturbed, disappointed in regards to this man and his involvement with this chick. But as long as he has dealt with her. Before I continue on, let me check the chat room for a little bit, guys. And the reason, what's good, Andre? Long time no see. I did put the call link for those that want to come. That's optional. One thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through one video from Papoose, and I think I found the video that he said some things that really got me to shaking my head personally. And this should be a lesson learned for a lot of us brothers. Either we're modern or we don't like to do modernization. That these are things we should never attain. Period. Oh, as the stream goes on, please guys like the stream, share the stream if you can. I prefer y'all to like the stream because it'll go better in the algorithm. I'll read your comments in a second. The first person that support was Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Thank you and salute. Let me see. Let me pull up my thing. Let me pause this for a second. Oh damn! I did not put the thing on. Hold on, let me just check before I start this video. Let me do this because it's supposed to be on. Where is it? Where is it? No, that's not it. Okay. Let me see what's going on. All right, here's the video now. So I'm going to look for my both ends of my monitor so I can check everything's going good. All right, let me clear that. Okay, you guys can see me. Good. Let me hit the like button. All right, so now I can see my end on the other end. So what I'm going to do, I'm about to play it now. Let me go back. So let's listen into Papoose. And y'all might not watch the whole video. I got 3 videos of this, but I'm only going to focus on the second video of his real live stream because I think he said some things that really should put a red flag on a lot of modern men. So let's go. And, you know, we could say fair use, but not really because it's Papoose. So he wanted his junk to be public for a reason. Let's go.
Right. Somebody said we stepped at the park where you said you was going to put homie down. So I go in the spot. I'm walking through the spot. I don't see the lane. Everybody look like the lane to me. I go to where I got an idea where they at. When I walk in the room, they in there lovey-dovey. They in there all lovey-dovey. Mind you, she been lying, saying she ain't with the nigga. She don't deal with him. All this corny shit, right? I see the lane. Y'all already.
Now keep in mind, Papoose is from the hood. I think he's born and raised, originally from Brooklyn. BK in the house. But you know how people in Brooklyn do it, you know. And I think Remy's from Queens. Or no, she's from the Bronx. My fault. She's from the Bronx. So obviously, every man, and y'all guys know personally that she is a street chick. She should be the last person. Any man, if you're doing productive things in the world, you should be, let's be honest, inseminating besides giving her a dick. That's the last thing you want to do, personally. And I'm looking at comments. I'm gonna read our comments in a second, but let me let the things play through. I'm gonna read our comments. All right, let's go.
Went in his mouth. Off the muscle. What happened was, he thought I came to talk. He thought I was about to talk. Ain't none of that. We don't do that. Mom! Right in his mouth, off the muscle. Whooped him out. Dead on his feet. Hit the floor like a sack of potatoes.
Damn.
I know. Everybody telling me I shouldn't talk about this, but this nigga's a lame. Do what you got to do. He hit.
Oh, one other thing. This same lame did a whole video on another bird did a lot video on this on the same lane that Papoose knocked out. Cole, one shot, right? And I'll be personally honest with you. If you got knocked out because you up here fucking somebody else's wife, you deserve it. Personally. Matthew, you deserve worse. But shh. Fair use.
The floor like a sack of potatoes. Stomped him out and all that. Bad. Hole in my knuckle, everything. But like I told you, I didn't do that because he slept with my wife. I did that because you shook my hand and then slept with my wife. But the part I didn't tell y'all is...
Now, see this right here? Okay. You find out your wife has committed. And one thing for you gentlemen, have y'all noticed not much women have done real live streams on Remy Ma? Now that Papoose revealed that this dude was in some form of, I'm not sure, polyamorous relationship, because that's what it is. It's not a situation. It's not a marriage. Because if your wife could behind your back, and that people said Papoose might be having some screwing too. I'm be honest with you, ladies. Cut the crap. If Papoose was slinging dick out here like any brother's doing, or any man that's doing out here in these streets, trust me, you would know. And not only you would know, a woman will sit there, talk, and tell the tea and spill the tea that she is screwing Papoose, or aka screwing your husband. We were all heard about it already. Why are we not hearing that one woman come out the open? Let's be honest. Not one woman we know came out open while these two were in marriage for over 20 years. Oh, actually, it's over 20 years. No, they were married that long. They've been together for a long time, but not been married for that long. I think they've mostly been married maybe either 16 years, maybe 17 years. I'll double check how long they've been married. But let's keep listening.
Through this entire ordeal of her cheating with this lame, I started to notice that he had something on her. And I felt like he was blackmailing her. I always felt like he was blackmailing her. Just because the way she was moving and behaving. So I'm gonna play an audio for y'all of him basically, in his own words, admitting to blackmailing her. Listen to this. So this got sent to me because he's on the phone with one of his people running his mouth. They recorded it and sent it to me. But this is him on the phone.
Okay, it's been confirmed. They've been married now since 2008. That's a period of 17 years. That's a pretty long time. That is a long goddamn time. Real talk. And let's be honest. Most people can't really say anything bad about Papoose because he's like very few, or not many, but very few brothers will sit there, hold a woman down while she's either away or stuff, and B, what they consider loyal. Because that's what they've been asked all along, that they look for a loyal dude. Isn't that the premise? That's what we always hear from these stupid chicks. Let's go.
Let me just play it. Hold on. It's lame. Now, when I started to feel like he was blackmailing her, I brought it to her.
All right, I'm gonna go for the chat right now. Jet Blackmine said best. Women can't do live streams on Papoose and Remy Ma because it will bring questions they aren't ready to answer. And I wonder what those questions would be, Jet Black. Fair use, fair use.
Attention. I said, listen, is it because this dude got something over you? Like, what's going on? She's staying out on days my daughter got to go to school. She's my daughter's calling, she's not answering the phone. I'm calling, she's not answering when she with this lame. Then she's with this lame for days at a time. It's like crackhead behavior. I'm like, yo, something is wrong. Are they using drugs or something? Like, what's going on with her and this lame? So I brought it to her attention. I said, yo, listen, if he's blackmailing you, if he's holding something over you, let me know. And we can handle that. We can handle that too. I brought that to her attention. But everything I'm telling y'all is not in order. It's just throughout the situation. So
she's not gonna do it because she's still, yeah, I almost cuss. Y'all lucky that I'm having commercials on here. And please guys support the channel. Cause much times I want to go raw. Ooh. Yeah, I'm just keep playing. Cause I'm go off.
I bring it to her attention. I said, yo, let me know if this dude is blackmailing you, we can handle it. And she wouldn't say it. But then while she out with the lame and me and my daughter's home, because that's who was always with her every night while this was going on, she'd send me a random text. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know I'm a bad wife. I still got all these texts. So I don't even know why she's doing this. Oh, I know I'm a bad wife. I'm so sorry. Just saying things like that. And I'm like, damn, this is not like her. So
you're a bad wife. So why are you doing bad things? Why? I'll tell you why. Because you're having your cake and eating it too. And Papoose, I'm sorry, bro. You're a simp right now for this. You let another man clap your cheek. Regardless, you punched him in the face, which I respect. No deny. He deserved that. He should have got that. But still, a lot of these young dudes are so bold now. They're not just screwing other man's women or wives. They got some on your chick. And your chick, instead of being a woman and hold herself to account, I think a lot of black women should really let Remy really know it. And mind you, I think her birthday was yesterday or today, wherever it is, because she's a Gemini. So you know how these Gemini chicks are. They got two different personalities. One day to this, one day that. Be mindful, brothers, of the Geminis. You don't know who the hell you're talking to nowadays or what you're dealing with. Just a side note. Let's go, Farius.
Maybe this dude holding something on her. I'm going to play the recording right now. This is the lame saying that he's holding stuff over her head.
Yeah, wrong. So far, she's saying she fuck with me. I believe her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go with that. But you're right, though. Anything can happen. So that shit will be 3 months, nigga. I don't know for how long it is. I got pictures, the texts, the videos of her. That shit gonna blow whenever I say it's gonna go. I'm talking about when I'm saying that news of cheating and all of that shit go anytime. It don't matter if it's a week or whatever. Like, the only reason why it's spark is because you just all these shit.
Oh, let me play this again.
Yeah, play it again.
Y'all hear the audio?
Yeah, we can hear that, my dude. Play it one more time.
Yeah, wrong. So far, she's saying she fuck with me. I believe her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go with that. But you're right, though. Anything can happen. So that shit will be 3 months, nigga. I know for how long it is. I got pictures, the texts, the videos of us. That shit gonna blow whenever I say it's gonna go. I'm talking about where I'm saying that news of cheating and all of that shit go anytime. It don't matter if it's a week or whatever. Like, the only reason why it's spark is because you.
Now,
listen. I don't give a fuck what it is. Your girl should not even entertain these type of dudes to go even as far as that a dude's gonna have someone on you. And I'm gonna say this, and you guys know the deal. I'm gonna hurt some feelings. Now I'm gonna say this. I remember the same Jap said the same thing. You guys got to stop filming or recording yourselves screwing up. This ain't Pornhub. Stop it. It's not cool. Hell, you look weird doing that. I remember one time I was dealing with. No, I don't want to tell my business. Let me stop. All right, let me keep playing because yeah, let me read the chat room. Damn, y'all know y'all lucky tonight that I'm taking a different approach to today's stream. Because normally I would go all off, but tonight I can't do it. But guys, support channel, please. Let me read in the comments. These questions would come from guys that might know them in real life, including their own relatives. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Now, bear witness to this. You just heard this lame, who she was dealing with since 2022, say in his own voice, I got videos and pictures of us. That's going to go whenever I say so. I don't care if she go back to him. This cheating going to go when I say so. This is the same recording when he was up there clout chasing. Oh, I'm going to be on Love and Hip Hop. I'm going to get more followers. All of this foolishness, right? So y'all just...
What a weirdo. He did all this so he can get more clout. I'm telling you right now, if you are a millennial, like Remy Ma is, or earlier or older Gen Z, if you out here, the people you're screwing, screwing literally, they're out here to get attention and clout. And they're going to do whatever is possible to get that attention and clout. AKA, they're going to record conversations. Hell, they're going to record videos and take pictures, especially intimate moments where you up here, you might get your back blown out, and this dude has the camera right behind your the back side of you while he's hitting in the back. I'm telling you right now, that's that weirdo stuff that's going around here. Because nowadays, especially dealing with a dude or a chick, they'll do anything, and I mean anything, to have someone on you so they could get or go viral. The man said he wants to be on Love and Hip Hop, all this nonsense. Get the out of here. You clap my girl's cheeks so you can get a contract from BH1 or wherever news outlet to be on the next Love and Hip Hop. You better go sit your lame, wannabe, no good battle rapper ass somewhere else. Like, real talk. But this is the price you get when you mess around with certain people. You're a certain echelon or a certain status in society. You're feeding the bottom dwellers, so they can come up. Especially a no good like that. That's clapping your white sheet, and your white sheets caught slipping. But let's go, man. Fair use.
Heard the lame, the knockout victim, saying he got videos of her. But let's listen to her telling me that, oh, by the way, one of the reasons why she's so angry at me is because she says all of this is my fault. Y'all ready for this? Because I knocked him out. She said if I would have never knocked him out, she would have been stopped talking to him. She said the fact that I knocked him out, she had to keep talking to him because she didn't want him to expose things.
Man, ooh. What you just said? You're telling your husband that you cheating, that he shouldn't bust him inside his face because he got some on. Yeah. I tell you guys, when I actually got a chance to really listen to Papoose side of the story, it's worse enough that you're dealing with a hood chick. Let's be fair, honest. She don't respect you. Let's keep real. Because the most form of disrespect is when your own wife not only calls herself cheating, but might also harm the reputation of you and your family by having these type of things on you, especially pictures in a sex tape that they could put all of it in it and make you look like a livestock. But think about it. It's already worse that the word got out that she was messing with that weirdo dude. But now this dude got tapes, bro. Now, ladies, any lady in the building right now, tell me this. Would that be grounds for not only divorce, but that should be someone that if your woman, you find that your girlfriend did something like that, would you still talk to her? Would you still be friends with that? Knowing she went and did that to herself, to her own marriage? I want to hear from ladies that's in the building. I see a few that's in the chat room. I want y'all perspective. I'll be reading it. Go ahead. Let's go.
I highly suspected that they was using drugs together. I heard someone say earlier while she was on live, "Are you high?" She moves very strange. I seen a video where she looked outside of herself. I'm not accusing her of anything. This is not my style. But the fact that you mentioned my children and fabricated all these stories about me, about this money, when I wrote 90% of your rhymes since I met you, I can type a word from any one of your verses for the past time I've been with you. I wrote like 3 songs on your first album. I can come in my email drafts right now, which has dates on them, y'all. 2016, 14, and you can literally see her lyrics pop up. The whole rapper pop up.
And I'll be honest with you, Papoose. I think you need to show the whole receipts just to embarrass her more, because really, truly, in my opinion, and a lot of people say that Remy is narcissist, and I don't like using that word narcissism because narcissism has been used too much now amongst the communities, especially our community. A lot of people really want to live with any person, especially men mostly, because that's why they use the word narcissist. They're narc. No, most women, modern women, especially black women, are even bigger narcissists. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear this shit about you the dude you deal with and then it didn't work out. He's narcissist. No. Anytime I hear, I'm going to point the finger back at you, point 2 fingers back at you, say, you a narc. Real talk. Real effing talk. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. Somebody that most men you deal with, narcissists. No, you the narc. Real talk. Hold on. Let me do this. All right. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
But let me say this, though. Let's get to this part right here. We just heard him admit that he's blackmailing her, right? Now, let's listen to her telling me that he's blackmailing her, that she would have been stopped talking to him. Since she want to get on here and fabricate.
All right. Miss Ashley writes, let's read her. Honestly, not justifying anything. I think Pat was out here doing his own thing when she was locked up. He was and is more discreet with his BS. You know, at one point, I would want to go by that. And really, I would like to go by that from a lot of you ladies. But here's the thing. This is how I look at things as a man perspective. If a man's doing him, right? If we want to go there, and let's say we go there, right? Then it'll be evident that whatever situation they have with each other, it would not be a big issue, personally. But they are married by law, by paper. So they have to somewhat respect the union in regards of the so-called paperwork marriage, or we call courtroom marriage, because they've been married now for 17 years. So for a man that's maybe doing him, and mind you, at the time when she was locked up back in what year she was locked up again? I think 2002 or 3. Cause they said she did up. Let me see how long Remy did time in jail. Let me look that up. I think she did. They said she did 7 years. What year? Hold on, guys. Okay, here's the scoop. They got married back in 2008 before she did what they call a 6-year bid. So she's been locked up for 6 years, 2008 to 2014. So she been in jail for almost the first 5 or 6 years, going on to the end of 2000, the 2000 to the early parts or mid parts of 2010. That is somewhat a long time, but not really a long time. So really, truly, if Papoose was really slinging it out there, oh, trust me, we will know. You can't be discreet for long. You got to remember, ladies, black men, or many men are sloppy. And really, truly, I think most black women today, I'm going to keep real with y'all. Y'all not going to like this. Most of y'all think in y'all mind that most black men, whether they got status or not, have always exercised the option to really have their women on the side. I would agree with that, but I would have to disagree because most men nowadays are not created equal. There are certain black men that have the capability to do so if they choose to and do it very well. And there's some that might do well and sloppy. And there's some men that don't choose to do that at all. And if you could tell from Papoose's demeanor, ladies, this man, unfortunately, I'm not saying he's capable of doing it because he is Papoose. It is very likely he's going to sit there and say, I'm going to find another for 6 years to get me by. Nah, this dude look like he's the dude that will sit there wait for his lady. I mean, if you look at most of the videos between him and Remy Ma, it is very much consensual. It is very much deep. This guy is very much invested into Remy. So I had to disagree with that. Out of all things, I like that comment, but I really disagree with that, unfortunately. I would agree on some things, but with Papoose, look at between Papoose and Remy, I had to disagree. It is what it is. Let's go.
And fake big this lame up. Have you noticed since I moved on, you never see her with the lame no more? She was sneaking around with him in restaurants. What he was at? Cheese Factory, matching outfits, losing the battle on stage, getting cooked by Geechee, getting cooked by Suge. This nigga get cooked every battle. I don't know what type of rapper is this dude, man. Never lost a battle in my life. But anyway, keep it moving. We don't care about that. She tried to make it about Clarissa. I just met Clarissa in July last year. I've been dealing with this with you since 2022. Clarissa has nothing to do with this. She's very angry because Clarissa is shining like the diamond she is. World-class champion, Olympic winner. She has nothing to do with this. Actually, Clarissa went on a Breakfast Club, did an interview, and said she don't have a problem with her. This, which aired yesterday. Yesterday morning, I wake up to a phone call of her being belligerent, being a narcissist, screaming on my phone, claiming that Clarissa disrespected her. How did she disrespect you? She said she don't have a problem with you. Then, in the process of that phone call, she asked me, so are you done with me? Are you done with me? I said, is that a question? Am I done with you? I said, she said, you moving forward with the divorce? I said, yes. My attorney, she want to fabricate these stories talking about not retaining an attorney. The last time I spoke to Rem, we said, listen. I spoke to my attorney. Saturday is the day that her schedule allows for me to come in. I had been interviewing different attorneys trying to pick the right one. I wanted to get a civilized divorce where we don't have to do none of this clown shit. She never wanted to do that. Just in recent time, she started to claim, when I say recent, I mean past few weeks, she started to claim that, she wanted to get the private divorce. So I said, okay, good. So when she called me the other day, tried to get back with me yesterday, and I declined because she was so mad about Clarissa So angry because I finally moved on. She see us living our life. She talking about doing something for the gram or doing it for this and that. I'm living my life. I lived over there with you. I tolerated your foolishness and your cheating and your adultery for years and years and years for the sake of my child. Moving on along, I just played the audio to y'all of the lane.
Now, here's nothing that was very alarming. And guys, please like the stream. I noticed I got a few likes, more people watching. Like the stream as you come in. Sit back, relax. The call line is in the chat room. If you want to come up, you may come up. Give or take. Men and women are wanted for this particular stream. I would like to have the conversation. Papoose, brother, you deal with a woman that's not only what they consider a cheater, actually she's an adulteress, but a multiple adulteress. I question you, brother. You know, you are a modern woman's wet dream, especially black woman, to find that you're a man that will still be around, keep building her up, taking her ish, and she go around and she could be dabbling with on the what we like to call, and you know what I'm about to play, guys. You know what I'm about to play. You're that type of brother that likes your chick to be dabbling and be riding the what we call the carousel. Yeah, you be riding the letting your chick ride the carousel. Very sad. All right, let's go.
Admitting that he's blackmailing her. Now I'm going to play an audio of her telling me that he's black.
And the saddest thing about all this, right? Because you allow your woman to be on the carousel for such a long time, she's now slipping up on the carousel. You can't make this shit up. I tell you, can't make up. She's slipping up with the carousel, man. This ain't, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Basically saying, but before I want to play the audio, I want to let y'all know that she's very angry at me because she says that if I would have never knocked him out, none of this would happen. So one of the reasons why she has so much animosity towards me is because I knocked him out. I'm letting y'all know that right now. That's one. I'm going to tell y'all the other two later. Oh, it gets worse. Hold on. You want to be funny? I could be funny too. But I'm going to be funny with the truth. You lie, you lie, and you lie. You had the audacity to come on here and make up a fake story and say, oh, my mother called me. And how lover said, come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son. First and foremost, you talking about your mother called you about a YouTube video that everybody know they make fake videos on YouTube. Remy's in the hospital, Papoose this, that, person that. Those, we all know those is fake. You just mad because you see us moving on in our life, right? You want to fabricate a story about, and I still say my mother-in-law because me and her had a tight relationship like that. And I would never say anything to disrespect her or anybody in the entire family. You lied and said, I said, go get your brothers. That's cap. Everybody know I'm close. I'm more close to them and show them more love and support than you do. But let's keep it moving. So we already played the audio of the lame, the knockout victim, soft, didn't even fight back. That's what made me mad. I would have just clipped him and kept it pushing. But the fact that I seen that the nigga was soft when I ran down on him, I said, damn, this nigga be talking all this gangster shit and he ain't even gonna fight back. Nigga was like a dead headlight.
But Papoose, most of these street dudes nowadays, young, old, or whatever, they're pussies. They're not real hood. They make the rhymes, the rap, the lyrics, the verses. Hell, some of them even sing, talking about gangster things, but don't live a gangster life. Like real talk, man. They living like a little soft life, or what they call drizzle. All right, let's go.
But that's another story. Knocked him out. It's no mystery. Had to get a tetanus shot, knocked his tooth out and all that. Hole in my hand, the whole shit. But let me show y'all the audio of her. Check this out. I want y'all to listen to this. Can y'all hear me? Should I play the lame first? Should I play the lame saying that he the knockout victim, saying that he's blackmailing her? Let me play her admitting it. But she's angry at me because I knocked him out, y'all. Glass Joe, y'all. We call him Glass Joe. Check it out. But listen to her. I want y'all to bear witness to this because out of the whole situation, this was one of the parts that really bothered me. So that's why I reached out to certain fake friends who I thought would be real, like they say they are, and step up. I try to bring it to their attention. Yo, I think she being blackmailed. Do me a favor. Just reach out to her. Don't tell her you spoke to me. I just want to know she's okay. She hasn't seen the baby in days. So I said, damn. See if y'all can reach out. And I don't want to involve nobody in this because this don't got nothing to do with them and they don't owe me nothing. But when you say you family, you got to live. That's an action. You know what I'm saying? You got to live up to that. But that's neither here nor there. So we played the audio of him admitting that he's blackmailing her. Now I'm going to play the audio. Listen to what she said. And I want y'all to know that this is my ex-wife. We're not married anymore. But at the time, as a married man, I wanted to protect her from being blackmailed. So I told her, if this is going on, let me know. Whatever he's blackmailing you, I'll handle that. And we'll get past it as a family. But she lies so much, you don't know what to believe. So I'm like, damn, is she blackmailing? Is he blackmailing her or not? But I want y'all to hear this. Listen to this.
She would have been over. He would have been over.
Before he plays this, I'm gonna read y'all chats in a second. And please, guys, support the channel. Yo. Now, to all the men that's in the chat room, would you? No, matter of fact, I'm gonna be straight with y'all. If you find your wife was banging another man, would you do what Papoose do right now and say we're going to handle this as a family, work this out? I need y'all response. And please, guys, support the channel. Hit the super chat or cash out. You know, we got to have this conversation. I don't think no one was doing no actual live stream on this. I hear they talk about this, but no one really played this video and actually we have this discussion because this has to be discussed. Real talk. Fairies. Oh, before I do, y'all know what time it is. I gotta run the commercial.
My money.
I told you.
Where is my money?
Betty, bring me everyone.
I need my money. I need my money.
What do you mean everyone?
All right, support the channel, guys. Support channel. Let's go.
Predicament, so I had to still kind of be cool with this nigga to make sure he don't go all the way back and I'm not getting dragged on both sides by Team Papoose and Team Fuck This Nigga.
Team Fuck This Nigga. That's your name, babe, bro. Your name is Team Fuck This Nigga. Hold on. Let's play this again.
She would have been over. He would have been over. You put me in a predicament, so I had to still kind of be cool with this nigga to make sure he don't go all the way back and I'm not getting dragged on both sides by Team Papoose and Team Fuck This Nigga. You didn't give a fuck. You didn't fucking care.
That is not true.
Talking to this nigga.
I would have been stopped talking with this nigga. So she's mad at me because I knocked him out. So she's telling me that I knocked him out. I put her in a position where she still had to be cool with him. But she tell y'all on live, oh, he's this. Oh, yeah. A man that treat me right. A man that did this and did that. You just said the other day you don't even deal with this lame no more. So we got one audio of him saying that he's blackmailing her. For all y'all who didn't hear it, we got an audio of the lame admitting to blackmailing this woman. Listen to this.
Yeah, man. So far as she saying she fuck with me, I believe her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with that. But you're right.
Hold on. Let me get to the beginning of this thing again.
Yeah, man, Papoose, get to the beginning of that. Cause I want people to listen. Let me read what's going on in the chat room. Let's see. All right. Jet Black says something. Actually, if I had laid down with someone else, that lady would disclose it. And everyone at some point, women could have sneaky links for years. Men's side chicks won't stay side chicks for long. Yep, they won't stay long for true. They will not stay that long. Next comment. Okay. Remy is bipolar or a narc or both. I'm happy for him and his new boo agree. Okay, very good. Next comment. Ashley, if she's mentally in need of pills, but men and women are equal, then no. Papoose did her a favor by being with her, marry her, and visiting her daily, then raising her son. Yeah. And you know what's funny thing with her son, Jet Black? His son still turned out to be a loser. I heard he's doing some serious time in jail for, I guess, clapping a dude. From what I'm hearing, I could be wrong. But he's doing some serious digits right now for doing somewhere, you know, he sent someone to the bottom room. And I'm not laughing in a good way either. All right, let's see what else. All right. But this is not how you pay him back. Yeah, Papoose was a cuck for a while, assuming she was right about being what they call white male. Yeah, I think that's what they call it. Oh yeah, well, I guess you changed from black male. I understand, white male. Salute, Chaos. Salute to you. All right, let's go.
Let me make sure I get it from the right part, y'all. Bear with me, man. Some bullshit audio. Hold on.
Yeah, look at that.
Hold on, let me get this right. We're gonna get to it. So we playing the audio, y'all, of the lame admitting to blackmailing her. He's admitting it.
Yeah, look. So far, she's saying she fuck with
Hold
me.
on.
I believe her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with that. But you're right though. Anything can happen. Well, that shit gonna be 3 months, nigga. I don't know for how long it is. I got pictures, the texts, the videos of it. That shit gonna blow whenever I say it's gonna go. I'm talking about where I'm saying that news of cheating and all of that shit go anytime. It don't matter if it's a week or whatever. Like, the only reason why it's sparking is because you do all these shit.
All right, so y'all heard that. And again, we're gonna play her basically saying she's been blackmailed. That's what it sounds like to me. What y'all think?
She would have been over. He would have been over. You put me in a predicament, so I had to still kind of be cool with the nigga to make sure he don't go all the way back and I'm not getting dragged on both sides by Team Papoose and Team Fuck this nigga. You didn't give a fuck. You didn't fucking care.
That is not true.
Talking to this nigga.
That is not true.
I would have been stopped talking to this nigga. So you telling me you got a lame running around here bragging, oh, I'm fucking this wife, oh, the whole shit, right? You got a lame who came in front of me, shook my hand, and which is total disrespect as a man. You sleep with my wife, it is what it is. She chose that. She's in the dope. That's not why I knocked you out. I knocked you out because you shook my hand. But he's on audio saying blackmailing you. So which one is it? Which one is it?
And a lesson should be learned for a lot of us men. And you know, let's be honest. I know a lot of modern women want to have it both ways. They want to be around either alpha or a sigma male. Still do what they want to do. Go out them streets, get their cheeks clapped by random dudes. And mind you, not only dudes they get clapped up, that these women are getting clapped, they're also doing licky eating other women too. Let's keep that in mind. And come back home to a nice, faithful man. Kiss him in the lips after she got all the essence from other men on her. And God forbids if you're a man, you screw that. God, this is such disgusting. I didn't even, it's giving me this nightmare thinking about this. The disrespect is real, gentlemen. I mean, real. And let me read what Black Mind writes. To me, blackmail means someone mails you and checks on some good news. All right, come on. Look at the name. White male means someone threatened to embarrass you. And, oh, okay. That's good. That's the best way to say it. All right, let's go.
You've told me numerous times You don't deal with them no more. You want to go on Instagram and say you with your child every day. No, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
You just started being with the baby after I left. Once I left, you started trying to prove to me that you're with the baby and you're doing the right thing. You're doing things that I've always wanted you to do. You just called me the other day and said happy anniversary. I didn't even say it back to you, Rem. I didn't say it back to you. You know why? Because when our 15th year anniversary came, which was a milestone, we were supposed to have the whole thing that we did in the 10 year. You didn't want to acknowledge it properly because you was too busy running around doing what you was doing. Now I'm in a space where I moved on. So for a person who got all these lies to say about me, why is it that you try to call me the other day and say happy anniversary? Why is it that when I went to pick my daughter up, you asking me for gifts and things like that? Why is it?
Why is it?
Because you're a narcissist.
Of course.
And in the process of you being a narcissist, anything you can't control, you're mad. But you lost the remote. So you know when somebody lose the remote, they go frantic. See, but what you didn't understand was my loyalty was because I said wedding vows before God, better for worse, richer for poor, sickness and health, death do us part. And I lived that out. I did nothing but take care of you. Every utility in that house to this day right now is under my name. The alarm company called me today. You talking all this money talk, you just paid a cable bill probably within the last 2 weeks out of my account.
Now, I'm going to say this, and I see somebody down and bring up in a second. Do y'all still believe anything from a woman that's constantly making videos, trying to make herself look innocent, all this bullshit, and come to find out when your man finally responds in the rightful way? Do you want the world to take your side? Now it makes sense why you think about it, people. A lot of people don't really agree or believe Remy Ma. I don't care what they say. Most women that sympathize for Remy Ma is a lot of black women because they want to be like Remy Ma. That's what I'm concluding. I don't give a fuck what anybody tell me. That's what I'm seeing. I don't go by that. If she's wrong, she's wrong. And you deal with her accordingly. You want us gentlemen deal with some men that's really wrong accordingly, and we do. Occasionally. So it should apply to you ladies. Now, no further ado, I'm going to bring the first person up on the panel. Black Mine, how you doing?
How's everything going? How do I sound, sir?
Sound good. You sound perfect. You sound clear as to be.
Okay, excellent. I'm at work, but I went into one of the empty classrooms and plugged in an Ethernet just to make sure the connection will be stable. And I hope I sound like I'm there in your living room, and I hope the audience hears me clearly.
They hear you perfectly. This is the very good quality sound. Perfect.
All right, excellent. So, and yeah, I need to do this Ethernet more often because you sound pretty clear too. I mean, I almost want to say that you sound like you're sleepy because of how much detail I can hear. This is I have to do this probably pretty much anytime I go live from now on. But to answer one of your questions. I don't believe any woman who goes on camera without receipts anymore. And that's Remy Ma, and that even includes Brittany Renner, who's claiming to have accepted my own religion. And I want to give her the benefit of, well, can't say I want to, but I'm supposed to give her the benefit of the doubt. And I'm even prepared to, but I even have to look at her and say, well, you're always on camera, you're always talking about it. And then you're still trying to build yourself up instead of saying, well, I mean, damn, look what the hell I did. And she's still trying to say things like she has this inner light that makes the roaches scatter. And that's still someone that doesn't want to admit that what they did was dirty, funky, foul. Not only that, but we already know how even she would judge a man that made as much a fool out of himself, and then turn around and decided that he wanted to be religious, whatever the religion is. I mean, what would she say about such a man? If a man lost all of his money dealing with these women, and he comes on and says, okay, well, I'm Muslim now, and I'm not required to spend money on women that are not my wife. We can discuss marriage, but don't ask me for a damn thing financially before we tie this knot. And but everybody knows that he's simped out and spent all his money on a few other women. Let's say, 35 women have cleaned out his account one after the other, and he keeps having to start over. That's the same women would turn around and say, well, no, you don't get to have standards now because we know that 35 women before us cleaned out your account or used up whatever money you had and got whatever they wanted. So I'm not going to be the 36th woman, but the first one to have to respect your financial boundaries. None of us are. So now now at this point, nobody's going to marry you because unless, of course, they're the type you don't want to marry. And that's what I'm seeing whenever these ladies go online. I would say the same about guys, but I just have a better gauge as to when they're telling the truth or not. Not only that, but Papoose himself has said that he only went online because she went online with everything. And so what it means is that, in a nutshell, who's more prone to go online to spin a narrative to get the public opinion in their favor during a breakup or a divorce? Do guys even think that we can do that first? We would be calling Papoose all kind of names if he went online first. So from now on, not only is it not believe all women for me, from now on it's disbelieve the one that goes on camera without receipts.
One thing I do want to add on to that, and yeah, a lot of people should be showing some receipts if they're going to put their business out there throughout the public. But we must keep in mind with Remy, for the last 3 years, because this all broke out back in 2022, right? That she really hurt her credibility already, because let's be honest, if you're a married person and you out here getting exposed for getting your cheeks clapped by another man in a marriage, and people been following you and Papoose since the beginning, it's not a good look for you, Remy Ma, because one, you're not doing music like that. The only thing you have going is TV, Love and Hip Hop and all stuff. If they're still playing episodes between you and Papoose, and without that, now you're not really much known out there. Besides the little song she did against Nicki Minaj, but now to come find out your husband Papoose, which I would totally agree, if he did, and he should have showed the receipts anyway, just the front and flex. That's another story. And yeah, you're the one that's really the mind and brains of everything. And because of this now, I would be convinced that without you, Remy is really nothing. The dudes that she chose to mess around with, that really is younger than her, let's keep real. And not only that, don't have nothing to offer, because if you deal with younger dudes, I don't care, most dudes that's in the up and coming, he's not gonna be with you long. Case in point, another young artist should have learned this a long time ago when he was messing around with Lil Kim. There's a video out circling right now that when he was signed Lil Kim was having his way with him in the bedroom, and all of a sudden he steps out, messed around with another woman, got her, pregnant, had a kid, and you know what she did? Because she was the boss of this dude, she went and freeze everything from the music he was doing, everything. And you know why that is? Because you're a woman, you spite. And most people are not going to look at you differently because you're a woman, you could do that. If a man did that, there'll be all hell broke loose. There'll be infractions, sue, everything. But because you're a woman and you did this and you hold this in power, a lot of dudes that don't know their rights and know that you need to fight back against that because they should not be doing that. But because she's a woman and we're men, we got to be more softer, more lenient, more caring, and have a certain feeling. I said, screw that. Your take.
Well, the irony is that my last upload was about a double standard that we don't need. And I suggested a replacement for that with another double standard. But this is a double standard that we're going to have to start bringing back a few double standards that counter the double standards already in place. Such as so one of them being that we should start saying to men, well, listen, be independent. And it's not to give you a license to cheat. It's not so much that. But let's see it from a standpoint of polygyny, just polygyny, where there's still marriage involved, but men have options for both marital and sexual variety coming together that women do not have. That is a must, largely because what are these women punishing? I mean, if you got this guy and she's if you have a guy in this kind of situation, but the woman's his boss and she freezes everything because he got some on the side. Well, here's the question. Does she want a guy that other women don't want? We already know in a nutshell that most women don't. Remy Ma's not the kind of woman that goes for guys that other women don't want because she can have him to herself. I mean, as it is, we already see what her standards are. She has a type. Visually speaking, she has a type. Anybody else notice the resemblance between Papoose and Easy, the so-called block captain? Yeah, they kind of resemble each other, but the difference between them is their character, and she chose the worst character. She cheated on the solid stand-up guy with the one that would turn around and cheat on her, from what I heard. I didn't see the receipts of him cheating. I just saw a headline that said that now he's cheating on her. But the point is that we knew the type of character from a long time ago. And even after Papoose knocked this dude out, we know that if he knocked Papoose out, she would have left Papoose right off the bat, because she would have sat up and said, well, he got knocked out. I mean, I wasn't with Easy, but when he knocked Papoose out, I was like, that's a real man. She would have tried to spin it that way. But Papoose turns around and knocks out Easy, and it's because of the pretending, from what he said. And I'm inclined to believe him, but nonetheless, he does that, and she turns around and fusses at him. And what's the reason? Well, she's put him in a character, or she's put him in a category in which he's not supposed to act like what she thinks is a real man. He's supposed to be the beta cuck, and she's mad that he did not accept that after she categorized him as such. So once we start seeing what these ladies' standards are in the West, the next thing that we have to do, even though it's mean and it sounds misogynist, the next thing we have to do is start bringing in double standards. And one of them is that you don't, it's not because it's wrong to cheat per se, but it's just simply you don't run up in, especially a Western woman that has any kind of power over you, that signs your checks or any sort of a position of authority over you. You don't do that because they're vindictive, not because you respect their hypergamy. Because a Western woman's hypergamy is really crap. It doesn't follow the hypergamy of traditional societies, but it's simply because they're vindictive and they're going to have their double standard. You're not allowed to punish them when they cheat, but they're going to punish you if you cheat. So we need to actually bring back a double standard. No, you're not allowed to. We're allowed to punish you if you cheat. You're not allowed to punish us. Let the men punish us. If we actually cheat, let the men punish us, but not you. We need that double standard in a nutshell to sort of counter the double standards that we're always being fed, because, as Edward says, we're in a gynocracy, and that's all it boils down to, really.
Yeah, and like I said, and I agree with you, Black Mind. I'm Jet Black, that the double standard. I really don't really follow double standards anyway. I think they're stupid at this point. If there's gonna be a real sense of a standard, a man should hold a standard that women won't have to follow, regardless. And the reason why, because there's certain order a man brings, and women, we all know by default, don't bring no order. They always ask what they qualify, what they want, and also, but really, at the end of the day, you gotta work for that. And if you work for that, there's no guarantee you get that. And a lot of them are too spoiled in the society, brother. So men have to be the ones to hold more standards. The way I see things move forward. You get me? A woman that's going to ask any stand, I gotta look at her from head to toe, look how she is, where mine's at, second to what she looks, and saying, all right, you want a double standard, you want a standard, right? Has your life reflected on the standards that you want? If the answer is no, and they gotta be honest, then that means you don't have no standard. The only thing you should be asking for is something reasonable that you can work with. Period. Now, I'm not saying you should take any dude that's not doing nothing constructive in life, but really, when you ask about what you will and won't do, or won't do anymore, you don't have a leg to stand. I don't care how pretty you are. You do not bring the real value in any of the situation or relationship to anything. Because most things that women normally should be doing, it is, let's be honest, automatic. it comes with the manual, you should be bringing. There's some unique that you should bring that certain women do not carry. That separates you from them and within the group. If you don't have that, then by default, you're what you are is like any other woman, and a man could find that. You gotta be so unique and special. That man said, "Okay, not only you're worth the investment, but you're the keeper." You get me? Most men nowadays can't say that. Most women they deal with today said this is a keeper. You know why? Because most women do not show reflections of to be that one to be kept.
Yeah, I see what you mean. We have to
Yeah.
look at the standards that they hold us to, and then see if they're living up to either those standards or other standards in exchange. And what we do find, especially in the West, is that not only do they not do that, but they actually actively, collectively refuse to do that. And that's the kind of play that you would have if you're trying to function as a sexual labor union, the way that they oftentimes are. In the West, they want to function as a sexual and a romantic labor union, collectively withhold from the vast majority so that they can then collect more in exchange for a hell of a lot less. And when you're doing something like that in order to collect fair wages for your work, then that makes perfect sense. But we already know that they're not doing this in order to collect fair wages for or fair remuneration for the part that they play. They're not doing this to make sure someone else plays their part. They're doing it to make sure that they don't have to play their full part. And not only that, but they all insist on being the same, like I just mentioned. So if they insist on being the same, then that means by definition, they can't be unique. So most of them aren't keepers because they've made decisions that preclude them from being keepers. The one that's a keeper oftentimes is going to be so socially pressured by her peers that if she is around them long enough, she will stop acting like a keeper because she has to justify acting like a keeper around these other women. And that's important for us to understand that under pressure, the pressure that you're under as a high school boy to not be a virgin and to lie on your ding-a-ling is that's when you're in high school. For them, that same type of pressure is applied to be a bad deal for men, and that pressure it tends to stay throughout most of their lives when they're living where you live because they just don't quit. They don't. It's like Shahrazad Ali said, they're not really growing past age 14 anyway. They stop maturing until they become reproductively unviable. I wouldn't say sexually, but reproductively unviable. And then they start looking like it too. That's when they start to mature again. They can't be attractive and mature at the same time because that's exactly what they're told not to be in the West by the peer group. Don't be mature and attractive at the same time. Do not look the part a man wants you to look and then behave the way that he needs you to behave simultaneously. You need to make them make a tough choice between these two, even though there's nothing naturally making them mutually exclusive. You should artificially make these two mutually exclusive. That's the pressure they're under. So I know it seems like I'm veering from your point, but actually I'm speaking more to it. They don't live up to the standards because they can't do that and be socially accepted for the most part. And they have to have a specialized group of friends just for that. So most of them will not. They're absolutely not going to do that. And not only that, we've internalized that. Really, I have to admit that we men have internalized what they don't have to do and what they don't owe us and what we need to prove and what we need to do as a man. It's so internalized that even those of us in these red pill spaces and in the black manosphere have to fight that program and remind ourselves at times of what it is. So even for us, a lot of us still have that mindset. Papoose is not a punk per se, but Papoose was just too nice about it. Well, he was trained to be. So he's sitting up thinking that she's blackmailed or white-mailed, I should say. He didn't think that just to make an excuse for her. He thought that because he got a message from Easy saying that he was white-mailing her. And then she turns around and says that she's being white-mailed. So he had both of them saying the same thing, which is why he thought so. And he was still trying to save the family. And then this is after he visited her pretty much every day while she was incarcerated for a dumb decision she made to shoot somebody behind $2,000 and leave her son in his care. And not only that, but like you said, her son now, I think he's doing a life stretch. He's not getting out. So his incarceration is permanent. And what does that tell you? Well, where did the son learn that from? Well, no matter where he learned it from, the point is she would have never conceived that son under conditions in which she would not have learned that to begin with. Remy is not doing what she's doing because it's wrong. She's making the wrong decisions. I mean, she's not doing it even though they're wrong. She's not making these decisions even though they're wrong. She's making these decisions because they're wrong. People underestimate the anti-moral component of what Western women, especially Western black women, choose in men. That's why she looks at these two guys that are visually of a similar type. And even when the good guy knocks out the bad guy, she's going with the bad guy and staying with him. That's what that is. This illustrates the whole thing that is wrong with nigga America right now. The woman that has her looks together is one, she's mentally in need of pills according to some people. But she's got her looks together. She chooses the evil because it's evil. That's what the appeal is. The appeal is the evil. And you cannot build anything with these kinds of women. So men are doing the right, more and more men are doing the right thing. They're not approaching women. Young white guys are not approaching white women. We know why. And young black men are not approaching black women. And we know why. And all we need to do is start telling more and more and more of these men, don't make these approaches. If they're really serious about you, let them come to you, because if you have to approach them, you're already chasing a bill and an expense and a liability, and they'll refuse to be worth it because you came to them.
Excellent. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And his son is probably doing a license, which I shouldn't be surprised, because look who you conceive and look how you carry on. You're a hood woman, so you're gonna be conceiving a hood dude that's about that life. Let me play more of this tape, because how much more minutes on this tape? I think it's like another 15 minutes. Let's listen more. Various.
Yes, sir.
I had to bail you out of jail when you caught your case. When you had to pay the civil case. And we backtracked it. Who account did that come from? Me. You didn't have a dime. Slay warned me. May he rest in peace. He warned me. He warned me. So when you say malicious things about him, now that he's deceased, I know why, because he know the truth. So all of this money talk that you're talking, you're a liar. All you do is lie, very bipolar. Say something 1 minute, and she'll say 5 minutes later that she never said it. She will say she never said it. Right now on my phone, and like I told you, I never wanted a penny. I never wanted one dime. All of the music I wrote for her, I never wanted one penny. I never put my name on the credit. I never did anything. When people said, we know Pat writing that. Oh, you want to go in here and say, oh, I was making music before him. You was. That's why when I started writing it, they saw the difference. You want to talk down upon me. You want to try to assassinate my character. But in actuality, there are people who interact with us. Anybody who ever been around her and never been around me, please step to the front. Am I respectful? Am I considerate? I come from a very big family. I'm very loved. I'm very loved, inside and outside. And guess what? Your family love you too. But you don't love them. You're very cruel to people because you're a narcissist. And you know what? It hurts me that I gotta even say this about you, that I gotta even come on this live and do this. But the fact that you tried to mention my children, the fact that you had the audacity to come on here and say, I haven't seen my daughter, when you didn't allow me to see my daughter. December 14th, when we gave my daughter a birthday party, you came to my attention. We spoke about the party. I said, how much is the party? You told me the amount of the party. You put up your half of the money for the party. I put up my money for my daughter's party. When my daughter's party took place, you had the audacity to send me a text and tell me not to come to my child's party. Wow. Why did you do that? Because I moved on and I wasn't sitting in the house watching my daughter while you run around with this lame, come home to me and say you wasn't with him. Why would you be with him? He's so beneath you. When I noticed that you was probably getting blackmailed because you're such a liar, I tried to protect you. Like
before Papoose continues, one thing I find interesting, and he told things and said some things about the parenting. We must keep it clear that a lot of modern women, Western women like Remy, no different from the hood chicks, I tell them many times they're not really involved with their children, especially the girls. So imagine, God forbid, you guys separate, and there's joint custody, or let's say she fights you to the point where she wants to raise the daughter by herself. She's gonna produce another Remy Ma, a hood chick that might get possibly ran through by different dudes. Come, most of them are not really protecting the child. Let's keep real. The data shows that. So right there, if you're trying to deny him access to his own daughter to be involved, right there, that's a serious red flag. And you're carrying on like the hood booger you are, the rat chick you are, like most of them. Because you don't have no control of any situation. You find one thing that you're in control, and that's the kids. And that is so messed up. All right, let's continue.
I always protected you. You want to make it, you want to go on the gram, you want to play games about me knocking him out, that's a small thing. That wasn't the first time you saw me in action. But you know what? Like I said earlier, there's 3 reasons why she started to have so much animosity towards me. One was because I knocked him out. And it wasn't because she cared about his well-being. It was because she had been, as a celebrity, as a famous person, who could be a role model if she wanted to, she has been...
Not her. Oh, no. Hell no.
Behaving in a very, should I say promiscuous? Should I say promiscuous? She has been behaving in a very not too respectful way. And it's been right under the nose of the entire industry and everybody. And people allow it because some of them are groupies. Some of them are clout chasers. Some people, they know the truth, but they act like it's not happening. By me knocking him out, it kind of put it out there, what's really going on. Also, she tried to fool y'all and say, what person would be in a marriage with a loving husband, being taken care of, bills paid, and cheat? You know what person would do that? You. Everything would be fine, and you would still violate. Because you know why? You can't keep your legs closed, Rem. That's one of the main problems with you. With a loving husband, being taken care of, bills paid, and cheat. You know what person would do that? You. Everything would be fine, and you would still violate. Because you know why? You can't keep your legs closed, Rem. Because you know why? You can't keep your legs closed, Rem. Because you know why? You can't keep your legs closed, Rem. But the fact that you mentioned my... Because you know why? You can't keep your legs closed, Rem.
And that's the thing that a lot of men should already been aware of. You're dealing with a lady that's out here for these streets on the, what we like to call, the carousel. And the consequence of being on the carousel, like people don't know, is that you're going to find women out here, they have the urge to release and hop on another man's thing. Bouncing, gyrating on other men. And let's be honest, women too. Well, women don't got that, but they like to licky all this nonsense, right? That this is what you expect. So, like I said, the signs was always there. Case in point with Travis Hunter, which this is not part of the live stream about Travis Hunter, because he just got married. And he's going to expect a child, because they already checked that. They could tell that the woman is expecting something. Let's keep real. But these men today, black mind, from your point of view, and anybody that want to come up, links in the chat room. Do they have to wait till they feel pain and get to the ringer to really start to see it? And I don't wish this on any man. Let's keep it real. But it should come to the point that I think a lot of men, like the old saying goes, you must feel to learn. And I think most men are not feeling at all. They have to wait until the consequence or the backlash or something happens to react. Some will cry wolf and some will sit there chuck it to the game. But at the end of the day, they were warned and they still proceed. Your thoughts, Black Mark?
If you were asking if men have to feel pain,
That's one of the main...
then Yeah, it's not just that men have to feel pain. We've been feeling pain regardless because when it comes down to it, we've not been allowed to not feel pain in dealing with them. That's been the game from the very beginning. They would not allow that. It's for a long time. It's been, well, there needs to be some pain that these men feel. I mean, like I said, the pressure that women are under is not the pressure to be. It's not the pressure to be agreeable. It's not the pressure to be nice or to be good to good men. The pressure they're under is the pressure to be hell on wheels. They're under pressure to be as difficult as possible, and especially to men that are good to them. It's just pure evil, really. And I'm not concerned. Once I learned that, I'm not concerned with what their reasons are that it's pure evil. I don't particularly care because I'm not going to accept any excuse anyway for just having for just pure malice. So men have been feeling the pain. I mean, I was a teenager in the 90s. So no, we didn't have an easy time. Even if you were always by yourself and you were single, you didn't have an easy time of it because there would be girls that would sit up and question you about that. Some of them would try to friend zone you, and we didn't have the term friend zone back then, and we didn't see it that way. But they'd friend zone you, and then others would sit up and question why you weren't with anybody, and it was never painless. That's never been the case. So it's not that men have to feel pain to learn a lesson. The issue is that these games have been willfully kept from men. Travis Hunter has by the time anybody explained to him what Leanna Lovelace was like, it was too late because he was already with her. So as far as he could tell, it's okay, it's either her or nobody. And why go through all of this hardship and all this suffering and struggling and training to be as good an athlete as I am if the reward for it is going to be celibacy? But he didn't know at this point who the sincere advisors were because who was going to tell him anything beforehand? And some people say, well, these athletes have the pick of the litter when it comes down to women. Well, maybe when we were coming up, they did. But now, now it's not like that. They don't have that because as much as women might like these guys, who's telling them about women? See, when we were coming up, they had some source to at least learn something about these ladies. Now you have these guys who are always trained. They don't have time to keep up with anything except their training in order to be as good as they are at that particular sport. So they're literally shutting out all sort of other information. Aside from headlines, they don't really learn much. And so when it comes to this, you still got to look for it. You can find out about the games that women play if you know where to look, but you still got to go look for it. And you have to have time to look for it. So when do they have time to just browse and start looking for the black manosphere? They don't have that kind of time. So he has to showcase a woman as a complete thought. Well, for women, the games that they're supposed to play are those are things they're being taught not only through social media, but they're being taught even without social media. So if a woman does not have specifically a TikTok account, then she could still get the game from her older cousin. That's been going on since before there was an internet in many people's homes. So they're still ahead of us in many ways. And so therefore, it's not just that men gotta feel pain to learn that lesson. Someone has to start telling these guys when they are young, when they are kids. Because when a little boy is 8, he's sent outside. If it's summer or it's a holiday, they send him outside to play. He's probably gonna be on some video games with his headphones, but they send him somewhere where he can't hear what the women are saying. The women in the house with the little girls playing with dolls on the floor, and grandmama and auntie and mom and her big sister sitting up there squawking about what kind of games to play on men. So even when she can passively learn that when she's a little kid, gets older, joins the conversations, she comes up gamed up. And Jessica X confessed to this back in 2020 and 2021. I still remember that, especially 2021. 2021. I remember about that fall, Jessica X even said, women have a double advantage. They grow up with women teaching them how to play games and guys teaching them what to look out for in men. And then men come up with nobody really telling them much of anything. They just got to kind of know where to look. And other than a few pimps, no one's going to tell them anything at all about women. Their mothers will hide what they know. Their aunts and grandmoms and big sisters will hide what they know. So really, you just got to put the information out there for these guys when they're young. And some people will say, well, we don't have the authority to go and tell an 8-year-old boy all the stuff that his mother doesn't want him to know. I know that. We're just going to have to disobey that and find ways to brainwash without their mother's permission and still not be willing to take care of and pay these little boys' bills when their mamas can't deal with them no more. So, no, that's your problem. He's your son. Send him to his dad. But as for me, yes, when I see him, I'm going to drop this game on him that you didn't drop. That's how it's going to have to be. Trust me, at the very least when that happens, when boys start off puberty and they're already aware what the games are before they hit puberty, then they're going to be much more, they start off with the mindset at that point, knowing what Travis Hunter needs to know. They will know that from jump. So before they really get heavy into their particular sport or whatever training they need or whatever skills they're trying to acquire, they're going to take all their time with studying. They will have already known from the very beginning. We have to start treating the games that women play like a necessary subject in life to learn. It doesn't matter what skill you learn to earn a living if you don't know this game, because then you're just learning the skill so that you can fund some woman that's going to take advantage of that because she can. We have to start treating it like that. We have to start treating it like basic hygiene. You have to know this stuff, or else nothing else is really going to matter. That's how we're going to have to start treating it. That's when men start learning lessons, because we know boys. Once a boy has it in his head, then generally he'll somewhat try to act on it. You just got to tell him, and you got to tell him at a young age, and you got to tell him exactly what their mothers don't want them to know in exactly the way that their mothers don't want them to know it, and exactly when their moms don't want them to know it, which is when they're young. I'd say about 10 is a good age to start letting these guys know. You let them know about 8 that there's something they need to know, and then about 10 you start telling them little bits and pieces. And when that happens, then you pretty much, this is what they fear. They're sitting up here complaining now because guys aren't making approaches. Just from the number of guys that stop making, we know it's not all, but the number of guys that quit making approaches already has them complaining on social media. They're aiming their phone cameras at themselves, recording themselves crying or complaining about it, uploading it to their accounts, and sitting back and looking and seeing how many views and likes they get for this. So what this means is that what they fear is these guys coming up saying, okay, you know what, I've known from ages 8 to 10, I've known from this time that whatever I learn in life to earn my living, I still have to protect that from no good women. And I have to know what to look for. And one of the first things you look for is, what does this woman do that she would never tolerate from you, but she's still doing to you? That's one of the first things. Well, damn, that list is going to start off long for the first 1 or 2 generations that these guys are gamed up. But when it's treated like that kind of necessary subject, then guys already learn. Matter of fact, they'll feel less pain. They'll know more and with less pain once that's the case. We just have to start not caring about what their mothers want and start telling them anyway. That's all. Sorry for the long answer, but I wanted to do justice to your question.
And we want to really educate the youth that have ears to listen and want to listen. I'm the proponent that I don't really have the patience to really save every young youth. There's some of them going to have to really learn the hard way. Like Travis Hunter, he was coached and mentored by a very great NFL player. And a side note, when the marriage was finalized, his coach, his mentor, was nowhere to be found, which I was not surprised. And you know why? Because he did the total opposite to what he has taught him in the 4 years he's been coaching him, from Mississippi to Colorado. And let you know, saying that Jet Black and any black men, I respect y'all trying to save enough of these youths, but it's gonna come to a point now that unless you get them at a very young age, once they're past a certain point, roughly 8 or 10, roughly I would say 10 at best. We could say 8, but roughly that they're already corrupt to the point where they don't have no respect unless you show them something or get them fully committed to you. Other than that, they're gonna always rebel because they have the rebellious spirit, like their mother. Their mothers trained them to be rebellious, not only to other black men but men in general. That's why you see a lot of young men, young black men especially, turn on black men, get old, harm and hurt other black men because that's a learned behavior now. Besides the economic portion of why we do what we do as men, but we all know in this society where we live in that it's prone and structured for our own self demise. And these boys that's coming out the factory, out the wombs of most black women, they are going to be weapons towards other black men. So to find ones that have ears to listen is just a bonus. But at the end of the day, let's keep it real. For those that are young like Travis or anybody younger than that, they gotta learn the hard way. And like I said, when a young man is open ears, is when he's receptive, is how well he sees the reality at is. Usually the father more should be more responsible to really guide his own sons in life, but we all know in this reality that's not possible. So if there come across black men that's out there that gives instruction and real advice and critique to other young black men or young men that's gonna be black men, it is, I would say, truly a blessing to those that will listen. But the majority of them will never listen, and they're gonna be the so-called Negroes that are gonna be the problems within our group. You get me? And I say personally, you gotta distance yourself, not cut them up, but distance yourself from these type of dudes. You get me? Because they're gonna just go wreak havoc amongst other groups of black men and in the community. So let me keep playing this. And thank you for your.
When you is it okay if I back up your point with something extra?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to play more of this tape. Cause I want to get almost like 90% of it because it's already I'm 9 minutes. But go ahead. Talk your point.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So to back up your point, and I can make this quick. That's exactly why it is that I'm telling us in the black manosphere to focus on the younger guys that are within earshot of us. I mean, the young boys that are within earshot of us. I'm looking at the same age as about 8 to 10. I don't think that it's wrong that we try to share information with younger brothers. It's just that we haven't started at a young enough age because we're not militant enough against the gynocracy and what it wants to code as certain norms. See, we tend to think, well, it's not my place to go and reach out to this little 8-year-old at my age, reach out to him and tell him exactly what his mom doesn't want because she's paying his bills. And what we have to really start doing is saying, well, damn it, this is war. So yeah, she can pay his bills because she doesn't want his dad around. But since it is war, we're going to teach him how to defend himself so that she doesn't just financially pimp him out or reverse pimp him to the wrong women. Like with these dating roaches and what even some of these moms are doing. Because, I mean, these single moms will sit up and tell their son, listen, they got a bunch of women in the church that are single. Why don't you date one of them? Yeah, well, they all got somebody else's kids. And what's wrong with that? They'll teach their sons this. So I'm with you in terms of not wasting time trying to reach the wrong youth. But we would have to work to merely plant seeds in the youth, in the minds of the ones that are still boys. I mean, they're still minors. We're talking the end of elementary school. We just have to work to plant the seeds in their minds. And then if we can later on, water the seeds. If we can't, we can't. But if we plant the seed and then later on, we're not there to water it, experience is then going to water the seed because the seed was there. Mama's going to water that seed if nobody else does it. And she's really that trifling and low down. So I'm agreeing with you in terms of not wasting time trying to reach the wrong ones. Notice this, and I'm going to close with that so you can play the rest of the tape. But notice that Travis Hunter, how old is he right now?
Right now, Travis Hunter, if I got to go by he graduated college and he's in the NFL draft. Actually, he's NFL now. I would say he is a 25-year difference between you and almost roughly over I think he's like over a generation, maybe years. He was born in 2003, so he's now 22 years old.
Okay, all right. So he graduated. So he's 22. His coach, you said, was coaching him from 4 years ago. He was 18, so the program was already there by that point. All he knew was what he knew. And also think about the fact that when he was 18, he had to go through all of that training in high school. And of course, if you're going to be that good in high school, good enough to get into the college and then NFL, all you're doing pretty much is your homework and practicing, your homework and practicing. So the coach that was with him in high school probably didn't know any of this stuff and couldn't tell him. And in middle school, I don't even know what he was doing then. He may not remember what he was doing in middle school. But the point is that he didn't get the information. He didn't have this coach until he was 18. And that is too late at that point. So the guy's got to be gamed up from a much younger age. And honestly, I'm saying that from experience. My mom did what she could do, and my dad did. They explained what they could with the vocabulary available back then. And with the knowledge available back then, they did what they could, which is why anytime I was a victim, it was because of something new. It was something that they just hadn't seen, or there's something that they had seen, but they told me later they did not know how to describe, even in English, which is our language. So I just wanted to back your point up with that's why we have to start at a younger age. I'll shut up so you can play the rest of it, and thanks for your patience.
Thank you. I like I said, I'm always giving my perspective of things, and we all could agree. I not say disagree, but we all bring some to help the future young black boys that become men. Any approach you take, like I said, always move with discretion. And know what I'm saying, if you're gonna leave the thought, leave a thought that will leave a mark, so they could think, and it stays in them, resonates within them. So eventually they're gonna start questioning. Let's keep going. Yes,
sir.
Any problems with you? I could sit up here and run through your body count, but that's not what I'm going to do, because I'm not here to tear you down, and I'm not here to disrespect you. I'm not here to do that. But the fact that you mentioned my children and you fabricated after you have already been documented and recorded telling the truth about how I supported you when you was away.
Oh, guys, please support the channel. I see more people coming in. If you guys got questions, it'd be better super chat so I can read it. Let's go.
Telling the truth about our entire time together. But it wasn't good enough for you to move on and be an adult after you cheated, and I gave you numerous opportunities to stop the cheating. We went to a therapist. Why come on here and lie and say we haven't slept together since 2022? Why come on here and make it seem like that's true? We never had an agreement. Oh, you be with who you be with and I be with. We never had an agreement. All we had was you lying, saying that you're not with him. Why would you deal with him? That's all we had. And when I found out the truth that you were with him, you said, let's go to therapy. And I agreed. Then we made an agreement with the therapist. You violated the agreement again. So when I caught him, I knocked him out. Wherever I would have saw him at, I would have knocked him out. You so mad at me because I knocked him out at your event. Anywhere I saw him at, he was getting put down. And I told you this. I still got the messages telling you this. So all of this fabrication, all of these stories about me, my children, all of these stories about money. I paid every bill in that household. I did nothing but buy you gifts. It's photos and everything of it. It's all on my page. Never trust a celebrity who erased their Instagram. They hiding from something. It's still there. Me buying her gifts. All that materialistic. If you notice, her entire thing was about materialism. Just fabricating. She just recently told me she don't got no money. So what you talking this money talk? Hey, this is what I got in my account. Let's keep.
But most smart women don't got money. They spend. And I remember there was a show done by the old man with another good content creator. I think it's content creator. And they were talking about the spending of modern Western women, or just women in general. That if you put them in cities or anywhere that is flourishing, women are going to consume like it's no tomorrow. So imagine like Remy Ma. We all know you're a woman that, got plenty of money with the assistance of your husband, Papoose. We know you're going to spend money. So at the end of the day, where are you going to have money left over? Because you spend it every chance you get. So that's actually factual. I will have to agree with Papoose. Let's go.
Give it a buck. So you want to fabricate these stories. I don't have to fabricate to impress anybody. Everybody knows I'm a hard worker. Everybody know I came from the bottom. Everybody know I went from artist, transition to executive. All of the times y'all see me support this woman, any song, any video she dropped, show me one post of her saying, subscribe to TuneCore. Show me one. Just show me one. Show me one, guys. When I drop the album every month, every single month, as the year progressed, the producers and the artists grew higher and higher and higher. By the time I got to the end of the year and I caught that feature with Lil Wayne, she ain't come home no more. She started staying out. There's people very close to you. When you did that, they said, Pat, we know her for a long time. Don't pay her no mind. She's only doing that to throw you off of your grind. She see you finally about to be successful again, bro. It's been a long time. You deserve it. You know what she did? Start staying out, not coming home. So I could go on and on about her. She could fabricate any lie she want about me. Any lie she want to fabricate, she could fabricate. I wrote 90% of the music since I've been with her. And if you come around me and you type a keyword from any one of her verses, it pops up in my phone with the date that I wrote it. So all of this money talk on that aspect, that's cap. You talk about me buying you gifts. You try to say in the past, oh, he don't buy gifts. That's documented. You walk around with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of jewelry that I bought every single day. You talking this jewelry talk. First and foremost, I have a cash business. So there's numerous times where I cashed you out and you went and bought things. With my money. With my money. You want to talk about property? We bought this house together. We bought it together. We bought it together. I wrote one of your biggest records, man. One of your biggest hits. So you want to downplay me as an artist when I wrote one of your biggest hits. That's so sad. But like I said earlier, the fact that you chose to mention my kids, that's why I responded on this video. As far as the divorce, like I said, she never wanted to get the divorce. She never wanted the divorce, that's correct. And she didn't want to do it peacefully, like two adults, because the attorneys brought to my attention, if you guys agree, the divorce could be private. But if you don't agree, it gets messy. I brought that to her attention. She never wanted to do it. Just recent, and I say within the past few weeks, she's been saying that she wanted to do it civilized way. So we had a plan. She said she wanted to go to a mediator. She wanted to go to a mediator. She wanted to work it out. She even tried to tell me, like I told you yesterday, she started asking me, are you done with me? Are you done with me? I said, is that even a question? I'm going forward with the divorce, yes. Now, I wake up to this morning. Very strange.
Now, Papoose, you should know, like any other man and you hear stories, a lot of men that's been married, whether they were successful men or not. There's no such thing as a clean, and I mean clean divorce. Hypothetically. It's going to be messy. It's going to be loud. It's going to be in your face, and the whole public's going to know about it. Because she needs an image, a false image, a persona to be up front, protecting her so-called reputation. Which really, Remy, I don't think Remy got much reputation, I think about it. Now that she's doing all these videos, and it's looking bad because, first of all, you got your cheeks clapped by a low-level rapper that's not going to go nowhere. That's why he has to have these little tapes of you from the pictures and videos. You can tell when you're not a real, your music's not that good, your flow's not that good, when you have to find someone that is up there in the business and you had to find the easy prey to take advantage of. And he did. And that was you, Remy Ma. And you're from a hood woman. How the hell you caught slipping, let a hood nigga tape you while he's clapping your cheeks, while you give him throat go? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. I don't care what anybody tell me. That's very unacceptable. All right, let's go.
So what I'm saying to y'all is the reason why this is happening because you mentioned my children and you lied. You cheated with this lame since 2022. You cheated with numerous others before that. And you know it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. Look at the comments. They know what I wrote. I wrote tons of her music. 90% of her music, I wrote it since I've been around her. I wrote probably like 3 songs on her first album. If I listen to it, I'll tell you exactly what I wrote. And when you listen to it, y'all know my pen. But that's neither here nor there. That's not why I came here. The only reason why I'm mentioning that is because you fabricated. You fabricated and you talked about my children. And as a father, I was not going to allow that. I've allowed you to do what you've been doing all of this time, and I said nothing. I said nothing. She got mad at me because I went live and said I didn't knock this lame out. Oh, it's not just the two. I said, Rem, whatever I got to do to assist you, I'm going to do it. Oh, no, but it's not just us. What the hell you mean it's not just us? Who is this nigga? Very bitter because I moved on, because I finally moved on. I got tired of sitting there tolerating it. And I was there for my daughter, but I started to realize that my daughter didn't need to see me like that. She didn't need to see her father when she got to come in another room to visit me now, when we all used to sleep together as a family. I started to realize that. I said, you know what? I would rather her see me how she's supposed to see her dad, on his feet, doing the right thing, not sitting in here tolerating somebody who constantly stabbing me in my back. So I decided to move on. And as far as the divorce, the reason why I filed today was because, like I said, me and her just spoke. And I told her, I'm going to go Saturday and speak to my attorney. After I speak, I'll be ready to do the mediation, you know what I'm saying, for the mediator. But since she's so upset, because if you pay attention, Clarissa has a fight coming up. Clarissa's out here shining like the diamond she is, and she's mad. She's bitter that I moved on. So she wanted to go on social media today and fabricate. You come on a live talking about, oh, my mother went on YouTube and she said, are you in the hospital? Dumb fake hospital videos is old as hell. You just wanted an excuse to come up here and be malicious and make up lies. Let's keep it a buck. That was pathetic. This you on the live talking about, pay attention, y'all. Go back to the live and watch this. Oh, don't call me. No, y'all, don't call me. What Ed Lover say? Come on, son. Come on, son. Nobody was calling you. Nobody was calling you. Picked up the phone and said, no, don't call me. Oh, I thought you was calling me about that. They ain't even know she was live, y'all. Your bullshit and your tactics is not relevant. If you look at Cardi B video, when she went at, when she was talking, I think she went live about her husband or whatever, because I don't want to get in their business. But during her video, she was like, nobody call me. Nobody call me. You up here, and you want to imitate that now. You're not Cardi B, man. Let's keep it a buck. This is how phony you is. Yes, she did. She on the live saying, oh, don't call me, no. But she picked up the phone. Oh, I thought she was calling me about that. Nobody was calling me about that. They didn't care. Nobody cared about that. But this is the fabrication and the fakeness. This is the fakeness. You just needed an excuse to do that. You've been telling me for the longest, when I knocked them out, oh, I'm gonna make you lose your job. That's the first thing she came out of her mouth. Like I said earlier, never supported it. All the support y'all seen. And mind you, I don't want y'all to take my word for this. It speaks for itself. So document it. Never let these celebrities who you support spend money on, follow their journey, open their mouth when something bad happens to tell you. You don't know me. You don't know my real life. Yes, they do. I documented when my child was born in front of them. I documented the wedding. I documented visiting you. So these people been following our journey for a long time. They say that because they don't want you to believe your eyes. Y'all seen it, y'all. Everything y'all seen was true.
And that's another thing that people don't know. And Remy Ma doesn't understand how social media and how you put yourself out there for the public through these so-called reality TV shows. People see you, they know you better because you put them in your business by participating on those shows. I don't care if people said, well, some of them are staged, they had to play it off, they had to act it for the ratings. Maybe so, but let's be honest. The people you watch on the average, this is them. So there's nothing that you could hide the public that don't understand how you move or your mannerism or how you are as a woman. The women that want to sit there and keep taking your side, they're just as delusional as you and even greater than now, because they are like you, Remy, ratchet, no accountability, straight up crazy, and narcissistic. That's why, a lot of women, and what's funny with social media, since I'm going to go there, is that with social media, if people don't know, is that there are some women on there posting, agreeing with Remy Ma and saying that this dude is a raggy ass nink, right? Saying all of this like it's nothing. And I'm thinking, saying, y'all will say it because you are Remy in your eyes. You're just like her, like most typical Western women. That's a part of that hood. You will do some ratchet, no good stuff because there is no consequence for a lot of you ladies. You want all the rewards, but when the consequences have to show up, you're not there, and that's the honest truth. So I want people to really pay attention to that. All right, let Papoose finish this up.
Y'all seen the entire journey of us, and throughout that journey, what did y'all say? What did y'all notice? Y'all seen support. Y'all seen loyalty. Y'all seen authenticity. Y'all seen my daughter be born. I welcomed y'all into the delivery room. It was all documented. Now you want to lie to these people and rewrite history and say, he didn't support me, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. You're a damn liar. I had to pack up the house that you was renting when you caught the case and put everything in storage. I had to fly everybody up. I had to relocate and get a condo close to the prison so I could visit you. I went and visited you every day for a year straight because I knew you needed me. I knew you needed me.
Did not know
now
that.
You want to come in front of these people and change that and change the facts of what happened? Really? Wow.
Did you hear that, Ashley? That's in the chat room. This man set up he went and packed up and moved to a closer location so he can get access to his future wife. See, I don't want women telling me some garbage about Papoose say that he has time to mess around. No, this man is too much invested into this chick. No, I'm gonna say he's too much invested to this bitch. He could have did better. Let's keep going.
Because I wouldn't lie and say I didn't knock some lame out who deserved it. You don't shake no man's hand to sleep with his wife. When you had to pay the civil suit, I paid that. I left from overseas. I had another show. I was on tour. I skipped out of my show, flew back here. They said, Pat, what you doing? You got another engagement. You're contracted to do this. I said, I gotta go, man. Rem need me. Anybody who was on tour with me, please step to the front. I flew back and bailed you out. I flew back and bailed you out. Because that's what real people do. I don't want to bring people names in it. But another individual put up the house, I put up the cash. Because you needed it. And you know another reason why I had to bail you out, because you didn't have the money. You didn't have the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to bring Joe in a minute. I'm not even going to bring them in it. But y'all relationship wasn't what it was at the time.
No, but let's go there. Fat Joe. You know why? Because he looked at Remy like another N-word. Remember, Fat Joe said some derogatory things to black people last year. And now he's linked up with Jadakiss, creating this little foo-foo podcast, this stupid podcast, just to be and stay in good faith to the so-called black community. And black community been done with this dude. Let's keep real. So Remy, you should know all people. This dude doesn't really respect much, really has back. Because let's keep her on. You're means to lesser end or greater end. And that's the honest truth. You think the man that you were under, Terror Squad, because that's where you came under, would help and support during your affairs. No, he didn't. He hasn't. And he won't. Your husband has to. So stop the cap. Let's keep going. This is almost over, guys. So be patient.
your bridges. I was wondering at the time, damn, why nobody rock with her? Why nobody supporting her? Why everybody turning their back? Because you burn your bridges. That's why I should have knew. That was a flag. That was a red flag. Your family love you. I tell you all the time. But do you love them back? Who do you love? Who do you love? You got a problem with everybody. Ever since Cam left Juju, she been the bitter best friend. Putting bad ideas, bad concepts, bad advice in your ear. Let's keep it real. See what I'm saying? This is what I didn't want to do, man. Because to me, this ain't what it is. But the fact that you mentioned my children, I cannot let that ride. Because I stand on that. You want to fabricate stories like I ain't bring you 35, I'm sorry, pardon me, y'all, 30 to 31 pounds of food every month. For the entire 6 years you was incarcerated. You want to fabricate stories like I didn't come to reconcile with my mother and your mother, who are two great, amazing women. Both of them love their families, take care of their families. Like we didn't know come there so we could have a wedding. When that whole Key situation transpired, like I didn't go through that storm with you. Like I wasn't in the courtroom fighting officers over your situation. So, you know, you're very ungrateful. And it's sad to say, I don't want to disrespect you as a woman, but you're a narcissist. I wish I didn't have to come on this live and do this, but I had to do it. I had to do it. Everything, as far as my clothes, guess what, y'all? When I left, I didn't want nothing. I didn't care about the clothes. I said, I don't care about nothing. Get your clothes, bro. I said, nah, I did not want it. I didn't want no clothes. Keep it. Keep it. I just needed to leave, man. Because like I said, I didn't want my... When I get off live, I'll call you back.
Okay, I think that's it. That's it for the live. I think he's getting interruptions, and like I said, he has 3 different lives of this. I only played the one that really was the one that caught my attention most. Hey, what's good, Jay Shine? Jay Shine, since you're in the building, yeah, I don't worry, I'll unmute you. Jay Shine, if you're there, you can come up, Jay Shine. I'll put the link for you to come up, Jay Shine. Yeah, you got talk about this, Jay Shine. I know it's after hour, but yeah, Papoose lay out his side, and his side is a little bit more valid. And really, truly, this man been quiet too long. I don't think he should have came out earlier, but I understand now because, let's be honest, I'm not following Remy Ma like that. But like most modern black women like her, yeah, she would use the kids and say you're a bad father, and that's going to put a real sting on a lot of black men that's really been involved, been there for a long time. So it makes sense now you have to come out because really, truly, you're not making yourself look respectful. Keep doing video. And a lot of people don't understand that a person tells about themselves by how many times they got to keep constantly have to explain why they're not the bad guy. No, that doesn't work. It's already worse enough that you went and screwed behind his back, and now that you about to head to a divorce, and now it look like you don't got nobody. Let's be honest, the dude that you were screwing got receipts on you that's gonna probably destroy you more than anything else, and your husband Papoose is gonna be there, which I don't agree with. But let's go there. That he's already committed to this than you, and because the betrayal was too much in his mind, he said, "Yeah, I think I need to put this to bed and move on." And trust me, he tried to move on quietly, but you want to take the high road and don't want this to end quietly. So it is what it is, and he had to do what he had to do, you know. And the receipts he laid out, especially with that loser that he knocked out, was very telling to me. That's really got me really triggered. That the father said this dude got receipts on you. and videotape because he wants to be on Next Level Hip Hop. I said, get the hell out of here, man. That ain't happening. That ain't happening at all. And really, she can't handle it. To be honest with you, Papoose, there's no way in hell she was going to handle it anyway because she's too invested to the dude. And let's be honest. Let's be fair. Let's be clear. You know how many times that a lot of these modern women that do these little tapes when they're doing some lewd, nasty behavior on dudes? All right, I'll give you 2 minutes, Jay Sean. All these nasty things they do, you think they really care if somebody taped them? They condone the taping because every time they're doing those acts, you know, some of these weirdo dudes, I'm saying, you dudes that do that crap, you're gonna take your smartphone and record yourself doing some weird stuff with a woman so you can sit there and watch it over and over again. You are weird. I don't care what anybody tell me. You should not be having no X-ray tapes of yourself with some chick and keep on your phone. What, you gonna make money off it? Are you about that life, that adult life? I understand if you're doing that to make a living, like a real living, you're making money off it. But if you're doing it just for the comfort of your own home, just to watch yourself with a chick, man, you're weird, bro. That's all I gotta say. You're weird. There's no in buts and between of that. Real talk. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what's going on in the chat room, guys. Fruit said that woman don't act out morally. Okay, tries to prove the correct. Okay, I'm going up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go up to the top of the beginning, guys, because you know that's the good thing about StreamYard. Says so much. I already condone. All right, said what's up the red pill supercell Andre Board 20. The guy like smokes a lot of stuff. And who else on here? You commenting and they having conversations. Past the future says lame. Yeah, I guess he's new. Ashley, you know, she was in the chat room. First woman in the chat room. That's cool. I'm saying. And Andre again. Ray Hammond's in the building. How you doing, Ray Hammonds? Okay. Adam. Is Carissa Shields' husband? I'm not gonna answer that because that was not a super chat. All right. Who else is on here? All right. I'm trying to look what's in here now. I'm gonna give Brother Jay Sean a couple minutes to come up. He's from New York. He knows it more than anything else what's going on. So, you know, let me mute this. All right. So let me look what else is on. One other thing I do want to say while I give Jay Sean some time, right? The lesson should be learned is this, gentlemen. Before I go to the lesson, we gotta get beyond the romanticization of a lot of these women that we fantasize and love and think they're here for our best interests. Okay, good. He's fine his laughter. All right, good. And like I said, guys, the links in the chat room. I'm only gonna do this for like 30 to maybe 35 minutes, give or take. So I will be cutting off this stream very soon. So if you guys want to come up and share your thoughts now on Papoose and what he has not only gone through, but it should be a lesson learned to a lot of us modern men. There's some things you should not allow or do, which most men generally don't really allow anyway. But let's say most men are going that direction. I'm telling you personally, gentlemen, don't do it. Stop it. When you as a man that you let your woman mess around, that means you have no options. You're too invested. And a lot of women got a whole lot of options to sit there and mess around with a whole lot of men and still get your wallet while sometimes mess with it. And to find out you go get some counseling for a woman cheating, are you out your mind? You think your woman is going to go out? Wait, there are someone that will go counseling. Let's say if you step out, okay. But as a man, you should not be going to counseling. A woman goes our way to not only step out, but to embarrass herself with the step out, which another dude has receipts on her to put her biz out on Front Street to embarrass her and you. I don't condone that. No, you should automatically just send her walking papers, her what do you call it? Her pink slip, and tell her, say, baby, it's over. We're gone. And keep it pushing. Personally, keep pushing. Shouldn't stay in that. It's a bad situation for you as a man. You should never stay in no relationship that really truly never did serve you at all. Man, it is bothering me to say that you stay in a relationship with a woman that's messing around. And not only that, you try to get counsel to save your marriage. No, hell no. Let me tell you something, ladies. Most men that you find that will do that for you after you do that, I know for a fact you don't respect. I don't what they tell you. I don't give a crap what they tell you. You never will respect that. And you should. Because that means you as the man, that's the husband or the so-called protector and provider, that there shows you have no standards. Like literally, no standards at all. You let her do what she wants because she's a woman. And being around her is good enough for you. No, you got to look beyond that. Your standards need to be better as a man. I would never. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I could be friends with dudes that knows their wives are doing that. Now I think about it. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And for most people to do that. Oh, it's not okay. Let me try the Discord. I didn't know it was working. Hold on, I got you. Damn, why link not working? Yeah. And it must be a secure. All right, let me go my Discord. I got Jay Shine. Give me 1 second. Let me do that now. All right, let's see if this will work. I don't know why the link not working. All right, he's gonna come on now. All right. Bro, that's crazy. Yeah, but yeah, man, you gotta cut ties, man. Self-respect needs to go a long way to anything else as a man. And right there, what just happened to was not self-respect at all. You're there just to, how can I say it? You're there because you have someone close to you.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting on Jay Shine. Can I mention something about the ones defending Remy Ma?
Yes, go ahead, please. I like that. Go ahead.
There's a saying here. I think the saying is in somewhere in Central Africa too, but there's a saying generally here as well that I think it's about thieves. It says something like the honest man could defend a thief thinking he didn't steal, but the one who defends the theft is another thief. And in case anybody missed that, and you addressed Ashley in the chat, I hope she can hear this one too. An example of this is that when I start off a new semester, I tell my students how I feel about cheating, not just how I feel, but what the policy is and what I'm going to do about cheating. And I let them know once you cheat at all, it's over for you. You're going to fail that particular exam, and if you cheat on 2 of them, you're going to fail the course. And I'm going to turn you in because I'm going to ask the university to put you out of the university permanently because you cheated. And I've done it before. And I always know who it is that's going to cheat or going to try to cheat because they're the first ones to raise their hands, or they don't even raise their hands, they just start interrupting. And their English is really bad for whatever level I'm teaching, and they start trying to defend not just cheaters, but the cheating itself. They're not defending someone accused thinking that he didn't do it. They're defending either cheaters in general, the hypothetical ones, or cheating itself by saying that it's not cheating. And it works like it's very, very, very reliable. And I realize that these are the ones, and usually their English is so bad for the level that they're in that you wonder how they got to this particular level, which means they cheated to get there. So they tell on themselves just by you opposing it on the first day of class. So the ones that are defending Remy Ma at this point, they're not saying that she didn't cheat. That's the thing. What they're doing is they're defending the cheating, and that's because the bulk of the Western niches in her corner are cheaters. Even if they don't actually carry it out, they're cheaters at heart, and they think that cheating should be allowed as long as nobody cheats on them. And that's all I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, you gotta understand, Black Mind. Most Western women today, they want things easy, less work, pretty much no work at all, and still get the outcomes. And case in point, the best thing to know about, actually, the best scenario that proves this point is they faking their bodies now. They getting Brazilian butt lifts, augmentations, like their chest done, and some other augments to the bodies. And normally that takes time, months and years to get something like that simply done properly, but they refuse to do that. So they go under the knife, and some go as far as that it's so easy to go under the knife that why I want to sit there do the work to get a healthier, more stronger body. And to me, that is not some to be looked at as praise or respect. I don't care what type of body competence you have as a woman. If you can't necessarily put in the work and diet and do exercise, especially diet, people understand you a Muslim. I'm not sure you're a Sunni Muslim, Black Mind, but you know the importance of fasting. And a lot of Americans today, we don't do enough of that. And people forgot to say, if you just stop eating for the first 12 hours, 13 hours, maybe a whole day, depending how you want to take it, that goes a long way on your health. You get me? Because now you're conditioning your body constantly to put something in your stomach, and your body needs time to rest. It cannot digest and function when it keep getting things clogged up in the sewage system. So it needs something to really and it needs time to relax, and you got to give your body time to relax. And a lot of people don't do that. So that's just something I want to add in. Um, but I see Jay Shine now in the building, so I'm bringing him up now. Jay Shine, what's good, my brother? How you doing, brother?
What's good, fam? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you perfectly well. I hear you
What's
good.
going on? What's up, Black Mom? Long time.
How's everything going, Jay Sean?
Everything's good, brother. Everything's good, man. I in rainy ass Germany.
I was going to ask if you're still over there. It's hot as all get out. It's hotter than Tarzan's armpits in Alabama in August out here, and you all are suffering in the cold and the rain. I'm sorry about that.
Where you at?
I'm in Saudi Arabia still, and I'm actually in one of the coastal cities. So we're going to get hit with the humidity in a few days too.
Yeah, they're going through a little nor'easter here, man. It got warm and then it got cold. Yeah, so we're going through that right now. But it's supposed to warm up next week.
Okay, all right. So you can relax then.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I can't wait to get my motorcycle on the road too, man. But I'm cool right now.
Get us some photographs, please.
All right, no doubt. Now I need to start posting some more stuff on IG, man. I got like maybe 10,000 photos, man, of just videos, real cool shit. Last few years, I don't post none of this stuff, and I'm gonna start doing it.
Can't wait, sir.
Yeah, man. But anyway, what's going on, Chaos? What's going on with you, brother?
Good. I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm talking about the subject as presented, and I know you listened to somewhat, not all the stream. I wish you did, because Papoose gave his take about what his now the soon be divorced wife, about how she's constantly putting video after video trying to make herself look good and put the accountability on Papoose. And we all know for the last 3 years she was proven evident throughout not only media but just in general social media that she already been messing around with another man. And now to come find out from Papoose side of things, he is saying that he not only stayed, but he's like unfortunate cuck to Remy, to the point of say you're trying to work this out. You're trying to the reason why you knock this dude out is because after you shake his hand, now it comes around, he around sleep your wife, and then you knock him out, and you still stayed in the marriage to the point you try to patch this up, and they're really gonna patch up because she stepped out in a bad way, and she tried to sit there quietly handle it. You can't handle that. You stepped out, and not only you stepped out, this dude got receipts on you, and he did it because he wants to be the next either world star or next Love and Hip Hop celebrity, because his rap thing is whack. His bad rap, and the bad rap in New York, because you used to live in New York.
Yeah, I'm from born and raised.
Yeah, it's either you sink and swim in the battle rap arena, and it seemed to me that you're not that good of a rapper, and you come up lucky with a woman that is a part of the business, and you got in her cheeks, and getting it so close to her, she was so infatuated that she made a so-called side nigga relationship with you, to the point now that she exposed herself by letting this dude film you. You get me? But there's no way how she would sit there and be shocked. No, he's been doing this.
Yeah.
But go ahead. That's the scoop. And Papoose said he tried to go to counseling with her, and the reason why he responded because she's this chick is talking about the kids to the point where it said he a worthless father and all that stuff. And I said, what do you expect? Yeah, Remy's on her own videos saying that how he's not an involved father.
Yeah, I heard her say. I think you said somebody else said that. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I heard her.
That's what drew him out. You get me?
Yeah. And she was trying to call the children, which is kind of foul too. Yeah. You know, like, let me call. You want me to bring so and so on the live? I'm like, hold up, time out. You don't be doing that. You don't bring the kids into this. The problem with the situation, Chaos, is character. You know what I mean? And I got a homegirl, I'm talking to now, and she thinks I'm crazy because of my standards. My whole thing is, if you're gonna be with me, right? I need time. Time is going to be the best ruler and measuring stick to tell me who you are as a person. Time. The thing about this that everybody's got it misconstrued. Papoose proved his loyalty to her by, coming to that jail and sticking by her, stepping in with the family, integrating his family while she was away and all that. He did everything to prove that he was a good husband. She never proved to him that she was going to be a good wife. When she came out, he should have married her. He should have put her now on a rule of time. You know what I mean? He should have put her on time. Like, all right, let me see how you work out for 5, 6, 7 years, and then we can talk about getting married. You know what I mean? He didn't do that. He didn't do that. And that's what a lot of men are fucking up at. We're not looking at character. Let me give you an example. I'm going to come right back to Papoose in a second. There was a guy I just saw yesterday on IG, got the whole family out there. He's proposing to the young lady. Now, what I'm looking at is the young lady. She got one of those bodysuits on with the ass cheeks out. And, this is how she's walking around in broad daylight. My question to the brother would be, why are you marrying somebody with that low of character? What kind of woman walks around in broad daylight in front of old people and children with her ass cheeks out? See, we're not even looking at character no more. Everything is built on emotions and what it feels like and what it looks like. So what we have running around right now, no disrespect to Papoose, I think he's a stand-up dude, but he was running on emotion. He wasn't running on business. We're not looking at marriage and our relationships as businesses. And I don't care what the women think. My money is a man thing. As men, we should be categorizing marriage and setting standards for marriage. And we're not doing it. We got men out here marrying slurs, marrying women of low character, marrying women who, like, all right, so if your girl, you got a girl, you think is smart because she's a businesswoman. I'm using air quotes right now. She's a businesswoman because she's on OnlyFans. Oh, she's a businesswoman because she does sexy lingerie, this and the sexual, and that's how she makes her money. But you're not looking at the character. What kind of woman would go out there and sell sex for a living? Okay, fine. She is a businesswoman. But my question again is, what kind of woman would do that? A woman of low character. If she's willing to do that for her own self, why wouldn't she fuck you over? Why wouldn't she, leave the marriage, prematurely and take the kids and take half your money? Why wouldn't she do that? Why is that now somehow so far above? So we're not even looking at common sense. If she's willing to sell herself and sell sex, right, for a living, why is fucking you over such a leap? We see, you know what I mean? So we have a lot of men out here who are not using common sense. All right? They're not using common sense at all. All right? You got to look at the character. This is a chick that will do anything for money. She was coming up in the streets. She has that built in her. Now, I understand he came from the streets too, and I get all that. But you have to give that time. You got to see how she's going to be when she come out. When she came out of jail, he should say, you know what? I'm going to put you on probation. You know what I mean? We'll play house, whatever the case might be. But I wouldn't have married her until you know, I've seen that she had that same loyalty for me that I showed to her. Because everybody's looking at it wrong. He showed loyalty to her. She never really showed loyalty to him. And now you see the payback. She's sitting online talking about, you know, he's making money off of her being a manager. Yeah, that's what managers do. So you rather some other person make 20% than him? You know what I mean? He was like helping write the lyrics and look at the payback. This is a character issue. She's showing a lack of character. She doesn't even appreciate the work you put in. She's looking at the work you put in and say, look at you, lucky to be there. Which is bullshit, because if she hired anybody else, she would have paid that person and I'd have been in it. You see what I'm saying? That's a lack of character when you don't even appreciate what people do for you, what people have done for you. How the party played with her kids that wasn't his. She didn't value none of that. So this should be a lesson to men in the sense that you have to put these women on probation. I am pro-marriage, but I'm not getting married until I see some reforms. It's not about the women, it's about the laws. It's about the structure. It's about what we're putting ourselves into when we sign them papers, right? My man, Black Miners in Saudi Arabia, they got different laws out there, right? There's certain things that, you know, if the marriage breaks down, there's certain things that will take place over there that won't take place over here. There's certain things that won't take place in America that will take place over here. You understand? It's a different environment. Those men created different laws. And what bugs me out about the Black manosphere and the white manosphere is that there's no real movement in the last 7 years that really changed and reform the laws. If you're pro-family, if you're pro-patriarchy and all that sort of stuff, we have to get these laws changed, because these laws incentivize the women to act the fuck out like this girl is doing right now. Everything Remy Ma is doing is in public. This is how bold they are. They haven't even went through divorce yet. These are things that can be shown in divorce court. You know why she can do it? Because our laws ain't going to punish her for it. She's not going to be punished. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, on top of the laws not punishing that, there's a social reward that they get for acting this way. So she gets socially rewarded while there's no legal or financial punishment. And here's the kicker. It was the weekend before last. I was on my way. I caught a Uber to the bus station to go see my wife in her city, which is about an hour and a half down the road, even bus rides. And on the way there, he told me, the driver told me that things were changing even here. And he said to me that even with the laws here being what they are, which is that the woman collects a dowry when she gets married, and then it's hers after that if they consummated the marriage. But what they'll do is they'll collect the dowry, and then they'll keep it, they'll divorce, they'll keep the dowry. And usually they might try to drive the husband away, which isn't too hard for them to do, or they may file, but they'll try to keep that dowry and then use that money to play with other men. Because now, even at this point, they've already been married. So even if they did find another man they wanted to marry, all they got to do is not tell him that in between their last divorce and marrying him that they had boyfriends, because how are you going to know there's no blood? You see what I mean? So they're doing this stuff now, and this dude was saying they're taking the dowry they're picking a starter husband and then using that dowry money later, and they may pay some dudes to play with them. And I thought, well, most dudes are not being stopped on the street and harassed, so that means what it means is they're paying the same few guys to do all of this, and they're probably guys that are in the gym. And then he said they'll find somebody, that's coming out of a gym. And I thought, okay, all right. So here's the funny thing. Next day, I came back to my own city and got to the bus station here, caught an Uber ride from there back home. And the driver there did not know the other Uber driver, as far as I know. And the reason I say this is because he told me something similar. And I said, hey, man, do you know somebody with this name? Because it was only a day later. I could remember the name of the Uber driver. And he said, I said, yeah, he works for the military. That's his main job. He's like, no, actually, I don't know him. And I said, well, just yesterday, he told me the same thing. About 27 hours ago, he told me the same thing. So even with the laws here not incentivizing that, they take the one incentive that they might get and they do this stuff. And both men told me that the reason for these broads doing that here, even though it's not as easy and not as profitable, is because of TikTok. They're following these Western niches on TikTok, and they can understand what they're saying sometimes without a translation. And if they need a translation, they get it. But they're following these Western niches trying to do the same thing. So I think you're right. The men do need to try to change the laws over there, because even here with the laws being pretty much fair, the women are still willing to try it simply because they're being influenced by women coming from countries where the laws incentivize this. So yeah, men do need to push for these laws to be changed. And we also need to start rebroadcasting and sharing these women talking about how bad it is and how they regret what they're doing, because these chicks over here are seeing the young broads on TikTok talking about get the bag, sis. They're not seeing the 40-year-olds and the 46-year-olds saying, I had to go to the doctor and I don't know who's going to take care of me and I'm falling apart, I'm getting old,
right,
and my mom ain't going to be here forever. So we have
right,
to start doing that.
Right. I'll tell you what though, I don't mean to be a cold-hearted SOB, but I want that for them. You know what I mean? I want we needed to end like that. Yeah. Because there's a serious repercussions to this whole culture that we're living in right now. What the women, what's the women are doing, and this shit is spreading all over the world, by the way. They're basically saying, Black Mom, we can't even have families anymore. We can't even have structured communities anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's the outcome of this. How can you have a structured society where women are walking around in slippers and with the ass cheek hanging? You know what I mean? We just saw SZA recently on stage in Japan. It's going off a cliff. And this is influencing young girls. So now you got young girls rebelling against their parents just because they want to be sexually expressive. And there's no real high, outcome of their behavior. Some might get some money because they get a lot of simps that support it, but at the end of the day, there's no real high level outcome of it. They're not, this shit is not building cities or educating, you know what I'm saying? The youth, this is not bringing us to a higher state of being and consciousness. No, it's actually lowering us to our primal, levels. They want us to be dogs. I just saw a post yesterday where you had these two girls in the elevator with this dude they didn't know, and they started dancing sexy, and then he kind of bounced out the elevator, and they was like, well, he got nervous, he couldn't handle it. I'm like, hold up, time out. So you telling me you want us to be dogs 24/7? That's the response you want from a man every time? Y'all want to cater to our lower extremities, right? Y'all want to cater to our lower selves. You want us to be primal animals walking around on all fours instead of being a high-minded man. He might be on the way to a business meeting. He might got other shit on his mind. He might have a woman at home. You see what I'm saying? But they want us to react and give them the sexual attention they want when they want it. And that shows us a level of narcissism. I think we got to come up with a word. Narcissism, this is beyond narcissism. This is something else. All right? And I don't mean to be religious because I'm not even a religious person, but the bottom line is that this is wickedness. It's demonic. To sit online and disrespect the man that took care of your children. I mean, we can't. It's like a Gandalf moment in Lord of the Rings. You shall not pass. I can't get past that point. How do you disrespect somebody that took care of your children? There's no honor. So look, man. Brothers gotta start approaching this as business. My saying is, business is life and life is business for a reason. I'm not cold-hearted. I have a heart. I'm a hopeless romantic and all that, but I put that shit in perspective and I put it in the right time and place. What I mean is somebody has to show me that they're worthy of it. You feel me? And that takes time because I'm about my business. I'm not losing everything I worked for all my life just because she's pretty, just because I couldn't control my lust, just because I wanted her so bad. You know what I mean? That's childish. That shit we should have got over in high school. That shit truth be told, we should have got over that in junior high school. But that's not what's happening right now. We seeing it right now with Travis Hunter. Everybody sees what's going on. He can't see it. About to throw tens of millions of dollars away. Because he can't control his lust in his emotion. So the women are taking advantage of this. I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just saying it is what it is. It's kind of like a war, right? If you have a weak point in your lines, you have to recognize that weak point in your lines. You can't just say, hey, we got a weak point in our line. No, the enemy's going to do what it do. No, fuck that. You got to strengthen that area of your battle lines. You can't just let it just keep being penetrated, because then you're going to lose the war. And that's what's happening with men right now. Men have actually lost the gender war a long time ago. Because like you said, Black Line, this has become socially acceptable to be disrespectful. It's become, not only can we be socially disrespectful, we're going to have the power of the state behind hoe culture. So when a woman's out here being a hoe, and then she decides to turn on a man and extort the man, the legal system's there to do that. Legal system wants to make an example of the guy. She's there again. She gets a pass. But she made decisions throughout the whole ordeal to do what she wanted to do. And in the moment, she was having fun. But now that's being turned around and turned into a criminal act on a man. This is absurd. But this is a situation we're in as men. We just saw this go through the Me Too culture, through the whole Me Too movement, and then turn around, you got all these fucking female mayors, female sheriffs who are fucking subordinates. How's that not Me Too? You see what I'm saying? We got to start dealing with reality. And the reality is, everything's about power. The secret to the world, and I say this all the time, Cass has heard me say it over and over again. The secret to the world is people do what they get away with. That is the secret to the world. People do what the fuck they can get away with. And you should expect it as a grown-up. As an adult male, you should expect that. And like, you can't put yourself in a trance and be like, damn, man, I did so and so, I did this and did that. She's not gonna do me like that. Yes, she will. Yes, she will. Every day in America, you got a courtroom going on right now. It's family court going on right now. Well, not right now, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm 6 hours ahead. On the East Coast, in about 5 hours, right? 5 or 6 hours, those courts are going to open up, the family courts. There's going to be men standing in them family courts with women who used to fuck and suck them, who got kids by them, and they're going to talk about the men like they ain't shit. You understand me? Every day that happens in America. That's reality. And if you don't think it can happen to you, then I don't know, then you tripping. I would give Papoose props for this. At least he gave us a blaring example that we all can learn. Take your time, young man. Let them prove their time. Let them prove themselves to you. If they really want to be with you, they're not going to go nowhere. Take your time. Don't attach yourselves legally. These laws do not benefit you. So you put yourself in a trick bag by marrying Western women in Western societies right now. It's absolutely insane. I'm not against marriage. I'm pro-marriage. But the bottom line, the way things are going, if you get married in these cultures, if you get married in these societies, you're going to end up in divorce. And then when in that divorce, they're going to break you. And the women are doing it on purpose. Going back to Travis Hunter, most football players who have short careers, they have shorter careers than NBA players, 5 to 7 years after they retire, are divorced by their wives. But it's like 70-something% of them are divorced by their wives. When these men need their women the most, their bodies are broken up, bad knees, bad hips, all kinds of shit they did to put them women in those big ass houses. Those women are still relatively young. They're gonna be in mid to late 30s the most, these women, and they're gonna walk away with millions of dollars. And they're gonna go, like you said, man, they're gonna use that money to go play with other men, play with the men they're really attracted to and they want to be with. Because these are not virtuous women. And if they're not virtuous women, they're not righteous women, they shouldn't matter. You should require a virtuous woman to have your ring on her finger. And that's not what we're requiring right now. We're just saying, hey, if I got a woman that's going to show me some love and publicly and be on my arm publicly, then yeah, that's good enough. And that's not good enough, because that's what I'm saying is we're not taking marriage serious enough as men. We have to set new standards for this shit, or get rid of it altogether. But in the meantime, we should be pushing to change the laws, because the laws right now is incentivizing this bullshit, and we need to reform marriage ASAP, or our society is going to fall apart. Because without families, you don't have communities. Without communities, you don't have stable economies and stable, societies. And that's exactly what you're seeing in America right now. It's not just a black thing. This is happening across the board. If it's not, then why do you have a white manosphere 4 times bigger than the black manosphere? See what I'm saying? This is a global issue, But in the Western cultures, it's really been a problem, and it's incentivizing this fucking behavior. It's disgusting. I'm not gonna sit here and try to control a woman. I'm not responsible for a woman. That's a woman's issue. Women need to get that shit together. But I will say this though, we as men need to check this shit. We need to check it socially, we need to check it financially, and we need to check it legally. We're not doing that.
Yeah, we have to check it. We're going to have to find ways to, and really this goes back to you telling men to campaign to change the laws. In China, they're watching, and we have examples we can watch, like in China, they changed the divorce laws, not even the marriage, they just changed the divorce laws in China. Right. And the last I heard was that marriages went down, and a lot of women said, well, I no longer have a financial incentive to get married. So what it meant was that the financial incentive was all they needed to get married. So forget about love. And what this does is this shows us what we need to be just as cold-hearted as needed, which is, okay, well, if you're in business, then why should we be in love? If we're going to be in business, let's be in business. Let's make this clear from jump.
Exactly. Black Man, can I say something real quick? Can I say something real quick? Real quick. I don't want you to change it because I know how you go. You hit on a lot of points. I just want to make sure we having this point here home. The black men, listen to me. Or anybody, any male come across this. The women are about their business. When they stand across from you, I just mentioned the courthouse, that's business. The bench where the judge sits, that's the bank, baby. They're in there getting theirs. I know it's not earned, I get it. I get the moral aspect of that, but it's business. They're handling their business. And they're not blinking an eye. They're going to these courtrooms and they're going into the social media. They're using the court of opinion, all of that against you to get theirs. That's just the bottom line. You can call it anything else. You can get caught up in their words. You can get caught up in their bullshit, talking about why they did what they did and the justifications of why they did what they did. He cheated on me. Well, he was verbally abusive. No, that's all poppycock. They got in it, and they're showing why they got in it by how they getting out. And like Black Mom just said, when she put those laws in, it de-incentivized marriages for a lot of these women. And just like if we changed our laws, it would de-incentivize single motherhood. If you stepped in right now and said, all right, fine, the only people who can get child support are married women, that would de-incentivize single motherhood overnight. There'd be nothing in it for them. That's all you got to do is pass the law right now. If all these Christian right motherfuckers want to really do something good while they got power, is put in the laws right now saying, hey, look, we want to incentivize marriage through the tax code and through law. If you want to get child support is only for married women, or or maybe they might have a gray area for some egregious situation where a woman was forced to have a kid. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know. But other than that, no. If you go into the club and having sex with a man, you don't even know his full government name, and you had a baby by him, you on your own. Also, if you want to give a baby for adoption, did you notify the father's family? You see what I'm saying? There's things we can do to incentivize fatherhood, to strengthen fatherhood, and also de-incentivize single motherhood. You can do it through law. I don't know why they won't do it. It's like we hell-bent on the left and the right to incentivize single motherhood. The Republicans in Texas just passed a law recently where now you're going to be responsible for a baby from conception because they're putting in their religious ideology into law, which is wrong. But so now what's going to happen on the ground level is the men are going to be responsible for child support. You're going to you have to pay back to when she first got pregnant. So not only when the baby's born, you got to go back 9 more months. This is what's going on out here. And it's insanity. This is incentivizing single motherhood, not de-incentivizing it. If you want to incentivize marriage, you can do that shit through law. You can say, all right, this getting married is the bee's knees, Black man. When you get married, taxes are better. When you get married, you have more protections as a woman. When you get married, you know what I'm saying? You have, you know what I mean? That's what you can do through law. But you can also say we're going to have a fair divorce. All right, we can de-incentivize the hustle. But this is womb hustling right now. These are womb hustlers out here. That's another terminology I came up with. These are womb hustlers. They're hustling the womb. This is some low down, dirty shit. This is what we used to call back in the day, the old school cats used to run around New York in back in the 70s. They used to call this backdoor home. See, when a prostitute petitions you up front and lets you know that this is what it is, you know, that's a bona fide hoe. Backdoor hoeing is using, you know, lies and deceit, family, and, you know, other things like that. Getting to know your mom and all that kind of stuff. And all she really wanted was the bag, because these women are looking for freedom. And their freedom for them is just fucking who they want, dressing how they want, doing what they want. But that takes resources. Being in nice cars, having nice clothes, having the bags you want, that takes resources. So where are you going to get it? Jeff Bezos' wife is sitting out here doing what with the money? He's the one that remade, you know, reconstituted. He made all that money back that he gave his wife. What's she done with the money? Because she's not a builder. Everything, her wealth comes from being with him. And I'm not even saying, like, you know, she did anything wrong. You know, from my understanding, he fucked up that marriage. But the bottom line is that all the resources she got was from him. She didn't create it. So other women see it that way. So they're creating these situations where, you know what? I'm going to marry this simp. I'm going to marry this punk. He wants a beautiful chick. I'm a beautiful chick. That brings in the narcissism. And then I'm going to just, you know, play my role. And if he's an athlete, fuck it, I'm going to have some kids with some good genetics. I might have some kids with some money. They're going to hook mama up. In the meantime, I'm going to break this thing. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to stand right across from you in that courtroom, acting like they never slept with you, like you never kissed, like you never had an intimate moment. None of that shit matters to these women. I wish the men would wake the fuck up. Right now, we have a lot of soft-ass men walking around. And you can't tell me I'm lying when OnlyFans is making the money it's making.
Not only that, but apparently they found, I don't know how true it is, but they're claiming now that a big chunk, if not a majority, of the OnlyFans consumers are married men. And that tells you about the state of marriage in the primary market, which is its primary market being North America. That tells you about the state of marriage right there.
But Black Mind, but Jet Black, I covered this on 2 streams. I read the link that shows the percentage of OnlyFans and how it's structured of how they're making the money, and it's all revealed with the graphs of really people that are married. And if I could pull up, I'll probably pull up for y'all to look at it in a second. That most of them is here in America, and outside America, there's a lot international that there are men that's already in relationships that are paying to watch these women on OnlyFans. It tells the state of marriage in general. If your husband has to go sit there and pay a non-chick that he's not gonna bang to see her play with her box or play with her feet. Just saying. Continue.
That puts shit great. But yeah, you're right. And you know, I just look at it like, look, you know, we have to be leaders right now. We have a lost female who's not innocent. They play innocent, but they're not innocent. They're very devious and deviant. They don't give a shit about society. And you know what? That makes sense. The Black mind knows exactly where I'm going with this. That makes sense because it is not their responsibility to be builders and leaders. This whole thing about equality and us having equal, you know, leadership and all, that's bullshit. I would say there are some talented sisters or women out there in general who can play their roles in companies, play their roles in businesses, and, you know, politics, law, extremely good lawyers, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about overall running a society. And the women that have that aptitude and that capability are not the majority. Look how many educated women are on OnlyFans. Women who went to college. So went to college to get a professional degree, but it came back right back down to tits and ass. You see what I'm saying? Because it's about the fast money. It's about having an easy, quote unquote, life, but it's at the expense of the rest of society. They don't care. SZA doesn't care that little kids are going to see them. Pennies. I'm sorry. I like SZA as an artist, but the sister is flat out wrong. You cannot not give a fuck like that. You can't, you know what I mean? It's ironic. You know why? I know they know better. Because you have Rihanna running around here talking about she would, she doesn't like some of the things she used to do. She's saying that now that she has a child, she's gotten older. So maybe that's because on one hand she had a child, and she's a mom now, and then she does have some values from our grandparents or something like that, right? Or maybe it's a combination of growing up as well, becoming a better person. Maybe it's both. I don't know. But the bottom line, she's sitting out here talking like a granny right now. She's talking like a mature woman right now. Right? Now, there's no telling when they start throwing those checks in the front of her and she dropped a little weight, what she'll go back to doing, who knows? But we saw Sukiyana have a moment of clarity. So these women know what they're doing. They know right from wrong. All of this, she's lost and you don't know how she was raised and what she went through. I don't give a fuck what she went through when she was a child. I'm saying that right now. I don't give a fuck what you been through. We all been through some shit. We got black boys who came through all kind of shit in the hood. We've been touched by grown women. You got some black men around who've been touched by men when they were young. We all been through some shit. We don't get the pass when we do something bad. I didn't get Robert Kelly or R. Kelly a pass because he was molested as a child by women. He didn't get a pass for that. See what I'm saying? We're not dealing with compassionate, loving people. We're dealing with people who are about their business, but their business is doing evil. Evil is, when you're just doing what you want to do in life, that is evil. When you're not considering other people and the outcome and the consequences of your behavior, that's evil. That's an aspect of evil. When you don't, if I was to walk around as an adult, treating people any kind of way, talking to chaos crazy, right? Chaos, every time you interact with me, I'm just disrespecting you and talking crazy to you, right? Now, no concern about the outcome. And then you finally clap back at me. You do me dirty. You embarrass me, or wash me, whatever you need to do, right? Publicly. And then I sit back and say, why are you doing that to me? That's what we're dealing with. That's wickedness. All this time I was talking crazy to you and treating you a certain kind of way, and I had no concern about consequences. And then now I'm dealing with consequences, and I'm like, oh my God, why are you doing me like this, chaos? This you know what I'm saying? That's wickedness. That's beyond wickedness. Everybody knows that they don't want to be treated a certain way. It's kind of like with the race thing. That's why I don't even argue with white people. We gotta talk better to them and teach them. No, I ain't teach them shit. They know goddamn well they wouldn't know if their kids getting treated like by the cops. You know what I mean? Like that. They wouldn't tolerate it. They know right from wrong. Everybody knows right from wrong. Because everybody knows how they don't want to be treated. Everybody knows. So you got a bunch of women walking around here right now who want structured results, but they don't want no structure. What structured results? She's in trouble and she needs a tire change. That takes systems. Tow truck guys that are trained. You need people who supply tools, the tires, and stuff. All that comes through academia, though. Building systems where you have a supply chain of parts and all the things that go into making services possible. They don't think along those lines. It's just snap my finger, it should appear. That is a reckless human being running around. And we giving these women big bags, $100,000 bags, $20,000 shoes. Get the fuck out of here. This is insanity on behalf of the men. Because now we're not taking it. You know what I mean? Now we're not taking society seriously. We as men and as leaders got to start taking society way more serious than what we got going on right now. We can't just keep looking at the fact that, hey, she's fine, she's sexy, and I get my rocks off, and then that's the reward. No. The reward is building a better world for our grandchildren. That's the reward. We can have fun along the way, but we got to keep our eye on the prize. And that's building a better society, a better world for our grandchildren. And if we're not focused on that, then we ain't shit either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, guys. Any closing remarks, guys? Because I am past my time. So
yeah, I would just say this one thing before I rock out, because I want to hear what Black Mind has to say.
Right.
I'm just saying, as a New Yorker, I want to throw another tidbit out there. As a street kid, what Remy has done is very dishonorable. I'm so proud of how she's being treated by the streets.
Yep, I'm proud too.
There's a lot of sisters online that, from the hood that are really pulling her card right now. Unfortunately, there's a lot of feminist females that, are supporting her. Remy Ma's social media has blown up since this ordeal, right? Which says a lot about our culture. But there's also still a lot of women out there riding with Papoose. And part of what Papoose did right is that Papoose didn't jump out the window initially. He wasn't going back and forth on initially. He got to a point where he's like, all right, enough's enough. And now he's speaking on it because his again, this is where time comes in. The time he spent in the game, he's known for not being like this. It's not normal for Papoose to be on the live talking about his business for an hour. That's not normal. So it has more weight. You know what I mean? If he's going back and forth with a chick, you first of all, you're lowering yourself to her level. You can't do that. All right? If you're going to be above women, be above them. Because there was somebody else recently, I'm trying to remember, that went through the similar situation, and everybody sided with him because he was quiet and he kept the powder dry and he was cool, and they just let the woman act out and everybody turned on her. What was that? The Tia Mowry situation. See how Corey won that?
Yeah.
That's how
you hear a peep from Corey. Corey kept his mouth shut throughout the whole.
Still is, you know what I mean? And when he does say something, he says something poignant. He gets to the point. He gets the fuck off stage, and he lets the women have been roasting her. You all right? So stand tall, keep your shit together. You know, and that's how you end up in the game. So hopefully Papoose doesn't make this a habit, coming out and having these long live streams. You know what I mean? Because it gives way more weight to it when you do it out of nowhere. When it's not normal, it gives it way more weight. People are like, damn, he's not the problem. They just on a human level, people want to see you as the as the bigger person, as the better person. You see what I'm saying? And they're gonna tend not to believe her. And she's been going out. She just keep going out, spazzing out for days and shit. She look crazy. Let her be crazy. Don't get caught up on her craziness. You keep your masculine frame at all times and never fall down into her level. That is some immature, I can't even say female shit. It's dysfunctional as fuck. It's ugly what some of these women are doing. And let them do it. Let them do what they're doing. Let them get together. And then you hit them all at the same time with the same bullet. So that's what I wanted to add. On the street level, this is very dishonorable to have somebody stand up for you, visit you, when you did some crime, and then you distype you in return. So right now, Remy Ma on the street level, she's no. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm just telling you how it is with street. My sisters are from Brooklyn. I had a conversation with my sister who still lives in Brooklyn. Real bro. You know what I mean? When she talk, she can't stand that bitch. She's all kinds of bitches and hoes. You know what I'm saying? They're riding with Pat. So and that's how it works when you're part of a village at a level. Now, socially, people outside of our culture, the women are going to do what they're going to do. You're going to have white women riding with Remy, these white feminists, Spanish feminists, other black feminists, riding with Remy. You can't do nothing about that. But on a local level, maintain your masculine frame. You always come out on top.
All right. Thank you, Jay Shine. I appreciate it, brother. We'll do this again soon. You know what I'm saying? It's good that you came pop it up on the right time. I don't do these late things, but tonight was one of them nights I felt it. Thank you again, Jay Shine. All right, Black Mind. Any closing remarks?
Yeah. And first, I want to thank you all for being patient with my long-windedness. I try to do justice to the questions. I'm going to remind my listeners and your listeners because Eric in the chat brought up Eric X brought up a point in the chat how satanic this is, and we're still dealing. I mean, we as black men and even white guys dealing with their women are still dealing with the shock of just how malicious all of this is. But we have to understand that malice is the motive. And I'm getting this from a guy who is both black and white in Canada who did research on feminism, and he found some interesting things. I don't have the receipts now, but he found some interesting things. And this is, in fact, it really does boil down to the definition of evil. Because at the core of this, there really is a ring of women that were, first there's a ring of women that are not into men anyway, they're into women. But even within them, there is an inner circle of women that believe in witchcraft and contacting spirits. And we know if you're calling on spirits and you hear an answer, you know what kind of spirit that is. And there are women that believe in doing that, and they're at the inner circle of this. And so it is radiating outward from that. And what we're seeing is what we're allowed to see that radiates outward from that. But malice is in fact the motive, and we have to understand it. And we as black men are dealing with a culture of women that have been taught to be upfront with malice, and if anything, to hide affection for you. Tommy Sotomayor castigates his mom to this day because of that. He to this day, he talks about how his mom was harsh and rough and had all this attitude. And it was one of her boyfriends that told them that, oh, she does love y'all. When you all fall asleep, she goes into the room and kisses y'all. Also, what, they got to be unconscious for her to show love? So we're dealing with a culture in which they're trained to be upfront with the hostility and always with the hatred and anything that's rough, as if that's what we deserve, as if we need that. So the best they've ever been allowed to show us is tough love. That's the absolute best they socially allow each other. So we do have to understand that the motive is the malice. We're shocked at the malice because, and we should be, because we're not that malicious. But when we understand that the malice is the motive, it may not explain the malice itself, but it will tell us what they're going to do next. Should men push for these laws to change? Absolutely. Does that mean that there won't be a pushback? Oh, there's definitely going to be a pushback. And so men should push for the laws to change in the West and still work on getting the F out and going to more traditional areas. But even then, men should understand that when they go somewhere else, just like I said, reach out to these young black boys when you're there and you tell them exactly what their mom doesn't want them to know, exactly when they don't want them to know it, exactly at the age they think they're going to say is inappropriate. By the same token, when you get to these traditional areas, tell these men what's coming down the pike so that they know what to do, because it is their society after all. But let them know what's coming down the pike so that they know what to do to head it off at the pass. And if they need your advice on how to head it off, they're going to come and ask you. All you got to do is tell them what to look for. They'll find it. Then they'll come and ask you what they need to know about how to head this off at the pass. But we're going to have to be aggressive against this misandry. We absolutely going to have to be and treat it like a gender war, because every time in every society, one thing that's happened is that by the time the men realize it's a gender war, the war's already been underway and they've lost it, as Jay Sean said. So I hope that explains it all. And thank you for covering this. Thanks for having me on here.
Thank you again, Black Man. I appreciate it. And like always,
Yes, sir.
we'll again soon. Take care. All right,
Take
guys.
care, sir.
Yeah, take care. All right, guys. That's it for today's stream. If you like this stream, make sure you go back to the replay, give a comment, like the stream, and if you want to support, you always can support by the thanks, which normally most viewers don't really give thanks to live replays, but it is what it is. Also, guys, the links to follow me are in the description below. Follow me on Twitter at CasRain7. Add me and a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain Facebook. Join my Discord service. Follow my Rumble handler, CRain23 on Rumble. And last but not least, become a member of the Chaos Rain Show. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, guys. I mean, next time. Let the chaos. Wait, hold on. Let the chaos reign.
Chaos. They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Must reign.